Chapter 787. How could this be? Li Xing murmured. He could not recover from the shock for a long time. The few Dharma psychics who were casting spells at the side were also dumbfounded. The fact that Su Qian could ignore the spell attacks was too incredible, and it made them feel a deep sense of fear. The evolver who was rushing towards Su Qian also stopped at this moment. He looked at Su Qian in surprise, and for a moment he was caught in a dilemma. A bunch of trash. Su Qian snorted coldly. He raised his hand and shot out a wind blade. Crack. With a crisp shattering sound, these evolvers were all cut into a pile of minced meat. Their deaths were very tragic. A level 10 Dharma psychic. Li Xing exclaimed. He almost wet his pants in fright. As a level 9 Dharma psychic, the moment Su Qian shot out the wind blade, he felt a terrifying wind energy fluctuation. It was definitely far beyond level 9. Thus, he confirmed Su Qian's identity as a level 10 Dharma psychic. The other Dharma psychics were also uneasy. Facing a powerful existence like Su Qian who could ignore spell attacks, they were all at a loss. They did not know what to do. Senior, I am Li Xing. May I know how I have offended you? Li Xing recovered from his fright. He thought about it and asked Su Qian respectfully. The crimes you have committed are punishable by death. Su Qian's voice was as cold as ice. He snorted coldly and released his spiritual power to kill all the Dharma psychics around Li Xing. You? Li Xing was shocked and furious as he watched his subordinates die in front of him. However, he did not have the courage to question Su Qian. Su Qian controlled his spiritual power to bind Li Xing. He pulled him closer and pressed him under his feet. He said coldly, "The Sacred Empire was also involved in the destruction of the Sun Moon Star Palace, right?" Destruction of the Sun Moon Star Palace? Li Xing muttered. He suddenly thought of something and looked at Su Qian in horror. He said in a trembling voice, I am Su Qian. Su Qian's lips curled into a cold smile. Gulp. Li Xing swallowed a mouthful of saliva as his body trembled uncontrollably. Su Qian's name resounded like thunder in his ears. Of course he had heard of him. Rumor had it that Su Qian was unscrupulous in his actions. He would kill without saying a word. He was simply a heinous demon. In total, more than 1,000 experts had died at his hands. Not only were there top powerhouses from the mysterious heavenly continent, but there were also many genius disciples from the 5 super clans who had died in Su Qian's hands. Wherever Su Qian went, he would set off a reign of terror. Anyone who offended him would not be able to survive. After learning of Su Qian's true identity, Li Xing's heart skipped a beat. Even his breathing became abnormally heavy. Senior, we were forced to participate in the destruction of the Sun Moon Star Palace. It was the request of those sage-level powerhouses. Moreover, the strength of our sacred empire is limited. Even if we participated, we would only be going through the motions. In fact, we would only be there for show. Li Xing saw the unfriendly look in Su Qian's eyes. He was afraid that he would be killed on the spot, so he quickly explained. Su Qian snorted softly and asked, I heard that you obtained a branch with vitality a few years ago. Where did you get it? A branch with vitality? Li Xing tried hard to recall and said, Senior, if I tell you the truth, can you spare my life? Crack. As soon as Li Xing's voice fell, Su Qian broke his arm with a stomp. Su Qian hated it the most when others bargained with him, especially when they were not qualified to do so. Since Li Xing did not know what was good for him, he could only teach him a lesson. Chapter 788. Ah! Li Xing screamed. Our holy empire has 2 saint-level ancestors in the holy realm. If you kill me, they won't let you go. At this point, Li Xing still wanted to threaten Su Qian with a saint level. This was a taboo for Su Qian. I even dared to kill Wind Crane Xiang and the saint-level gold-devouring beetle. Your holy empire's saint level is nothing. Su Qian snorted. He lifted his foot and stomped Li Xing's other arm into meat paste. The intense pain almost made Li Xing faint. When he regained his strength, his heart was beating violently. Su Qian could even kill a saint level? And a saint-level gold-devouring beetle? The fear in Li Xing's heart reached its peak. He hurriedly said, Senior, give me a chance. Su Qian's face was cold as he scolded, Tell me where you got the tree of life. Otherwise, I'll make you beg for death. Li Xing trembled. After struggling for a while, he gritted his teeth and said, I got it in a secret realm on Green Cloud Island. Green Cloud Island? A secret realm? Su Qian pondered and continued to ask, Where exactly is it on Green Cloud Island? He had seen Green Cloud Island on the mysterious heavenly continent topographic map. It was a huge island at least 20 times the size of Qinyu Island. If he couldn't determine the exact location, it would take a lot of time to find that secret realm. Li Xing didn't dare to hesitate and said truthfully, "It's in the Yunluo Mountains of Green Cloud Island." Su Chen nodded slightly and asked, "Does the Holy Empire have any level 9 energy stones?" The intelligent chariot and mechanical soldier had both been upgraded to level 8. The next step was to advance to level 9. Finding level 9 energy stones was the key. "No." Li Xing shook his head and said bluntly, "Since you don't have any, you can die." Su Chen didn't show any mercy. He punched Li Xing and blasted him to death. Then he returned to the intelligent chariot. "Sect Master, have you heard of Green Cloud Island?" Back in the car, Su Chen immediately asked Shang Tsai. Since he knew that the Tree of Life came from Green Cloud Island, he had to make a trip there. However, he knew very little about Clear Cloud Island and wanted to understand the situation of Clear Cloud Island through Shang Kaili and the others. Hearing the name Green Cloud Island, Shang Tsai's expression became serious and she said, "Green Cloud Island is the #1 island in the Grand Mysterious Heaven Outer Zone. This #1 doesn't refer to its size but its strength. Although Qingyun Island is only an island, its overall strength is very strong. It has more than a dozen powerful sects and experts. Almost every sect has a saint-level ancestor. So strong?" Su Chen couldn't help but click his tongue. Not to mention other things, just the dozen or so saint-level ancestors on Clear Cloud Island were enough to attract his attention. "Su Chen, are you going to Green Cloud Island?" Nan Lichuan asked worriedly. With Su Chen's style of doing things, once he entered Clear Cloud Island, he might set off a bloody storm. Nan Lichuan was very worried. "I'll definitely go to Clear Cloud Island but not now." Su Chen nodded. He had to eliminate the forces that participated in the destruction of the Sun Moon Star Palace before he could go to Clear Cloud Island. His next target was the Holy Temple of the Wild. Shang Kaili and the others looked at each other and sighed. Since Su Chen had made up his mind, no one could persuade him otherwise. They only hoped that the people of Clear Cloud Island would open their eyes and not provoke Su Chen. Otherwise, it was very likely that their sects would be destroyed. Chapter 789. Satoshi, head to the Temple of the Wild. Su Chen instructed and then asked Shang Tsai, "Sect Master, what forces are in the Temple of the Wild?" "In addition to the Temple of the Wild, there are several large families," Shang Tsai said bluntly. "Did these forces participate in the destruction of the Sun, Moon, and Star Palace?" Su Chen asked. He was not a bloodthirsty person, and he would not casually slaughter those who did not participate in it. "Only the Temple of the Wild and the Ling family participated," Shang Tsai said truthfully. "The Ling family?" Su Chen muttered and a cold light shot out of his eyes. He had heard from Shang Tsai that the Ling family was also a large family in the Temple of the Wild and had a sage-level ancestor. Lu Yan's daughter Lu Kaifeng had married into the Lu family, and Lu Yan had died in his hands. Su Chen could imagine that the Ling family must have participated in this for revenge. After a while, Su Chen sat back in the driver's seat and opened the planting space to check the growth progress of various spiritual plants. Shang Tsai and the others also found a place to rest. Behind them, the intelligent war chariot sped straight to the Temple of the Wild. It was very smooth and did not encounter any obstacles along the way. This made Su Chen feel very strange. Since the human clan sage-level experts were determined to kill him, shouldn't they send a large number of experts to kill him? Why did they let him be so carefree? Could it be that they were so scared that they did not dare to send anyone after knowing that Feng Hexiang and Jin Guangyu had been killed? Su Chen felt that this was possible, but the possibility was not too high. After all, he had not offended ordinary people, but the human clan sage-level experts. If those sage-level experts gave up just like that, where would their dignity be? Could it be that they were plotting something? Giving a fatal blow at the critical moment? The sage-level experts had lived for countless years and were all shrewd and astute. Su Chen felt that this was more likely. However, he did not take it to heart. He would deal with whatever came his way. As long as he was on the mainland, there was nothing to be afraid of no matter how many people came. 10 days later, the intelligent war chariot entered the barbarian Holy Temple area. According to the original plan, the first target to be eliminated was the various temples. However, what was surprising was that when the intelligent war chariot arrived at the All Gods Temple, it was already empty. There were only a few low-level cultivators left. Su Chen interrogated them and found out that the experts of the various temples had all left this place a few days ago. There was no trace of them at all. It was as if they knew that Su Chen was coming to kill them, so they hid in advance. Su Chen missed and was very depressed in his heart. Other than not being able to kill the experts of the various temples, they didn't find a single wind spiritual stone. In order to vent his anger, he destroyed more than half of the Temple of All Gods before he left. After leaving the Temple of All Gods, the intelligent war chariot rushed to the Ling family. However, just like the various temples, the Ling family's experts had long since fled. Su Qin, where are we going next? Zhang Caili asked. Su Qin thought for a moment and said, let's go to Qingyun Island. The four major forces of the mysterious heavenly mainland, the Wenshi dynasty and the Holy Empire, had been completely destroyed by him. The few major forces of the Forgotten Autumn Mountain basically existed in name only. Other than the barbarian Holy Temple, the other two major forces had fled. They had basically achieved their goal of revenge. There was no point in continuing to stay in the mysterious heavenly mainland. Hearing this, Zhang Caili did not say anything else. Going to Qingyun Island was Su Chen's decision. He had to go there sooner or later. Chapter 790. The intelligent war chariot locked onto Qingyun Island and sped towards it. Along the way, Su Chen opened the pet-raising space. Did the gold-devouring beetle advance to level 10 after devouring Jingguang Yu's corpse? That was what he was concerned about. The moment he opened the pet-raising space, he felt a violent aura. This aura came from the gold-devouring beetles. Little beetle, you've advanced? Su Chen was excited. The gold-devouring beetle was already very strong. Once it advanced to level 10, it would definitely be a great help to him. Its strength was even stronger than Wu Yazi, who had his cultivation suppressed. Master, I've advanced. The gold-devouring beetle shouted excitedly. After advancing to level 10, it actually grew wings and was flying up and down in the space. The flaming phoenix and the other spiritual pets stayed far away from it. They had no choice. The gold-devouring beetle's body was too strong. Once it touched it, it would not be a joke. It might even break their bones. Okay. Su Chen nodded and the corner of his mouth could not help but curl up. After that, he chatted with the spiritual pets for a while and closed the pet-raising space. The intelligent war chariot left the mysterious heavenly mainland and entered a boundless sea. Su Chen had nothing to do, so his gaze fell on the central control screen. Due to the distance from Qingyun Island, it would take more than 10 days. If he encountered a large group of sea monsters during this period, he could kill them and get some fragments. Soon, Su Chen saw a huge black dot on the central control screen. There were more than 10 smaller black and blue dots gathered around the black dot. Mutated tribes and humans? Su Chen raised his eyebrows and ordered the intelligent war chariot, Satoshi, lock onto them and zoom in on the image. Yes. The intelligent war chariot locked onto them and quickly displayed the image on the central control screen. Su Chen took a closer look and saw a demonic beast as black as ink lying in the middle of the sea. This demonic beast was like a mollusk, giving people a feeling of softness all over. Moreover, its body was especially huge, almost the same size as some of the smaller islands. On the back of this demonic beast stood a dozen or so humans and non-humans. These foreign races were not of the same race. Su Chen had seen them before. The night demon race, the flying feather race, the oceanic race, and the god race were all present. What are these guys trying to do? Su Chen frowned and muttered. However, at this moment, the intelligent war chariot reminded Zhuyan, the other party seems to have discovered us and is flying towards us. Su Chen exclaimed softly and looked at the central control screen again. Sure enough, the huge demonic beast set off stormy waves. Its swimming speed was very fast and it was heading towards them. Could it be that they were really coming for him? Su Chen was a little uncertain. After thinking for a while, he asked Zhang Caili, Lord, do you know these humans? Zhang Caili walked forward and glanced at the central control screen. Her expression suddenly froze and she said in a deep voice, some of them are from the All Gods Temple and the Ling family. I don't know the rest. All Gods Temple and the Ling family? A cold smile appeared on Su Chen's lips. He was worried that he couldn't find the people from the All Gods Temple and the Ling family. He didn't expect them to take the initiative to come to him. It was a good opportunity to catch them all in one fell swoop. Satoshi, check their cultivation, Su Chen ordered. Since the other party took the initiative to find him, they must be prepared. To be cautious, it was better to understand the other party's strength. It was better to be prepared. Chapter 791. Master, that demonic beast is a saint-level demonic beast. The rest of the humans and mutated races are all level 10 cultivators, the intelligent war chariot quickly replied. So many powerful cultivators? And a saint-level demonic beast? After hearing this news, Zhang Caili and the others were all shocked. Even Su Chen's expression turned serious. More than 20 level 10 cultivators and a saint-level demonic beast. This lineup was enough to wipe out an entire continent. If it was someone else, they would have run away. But Su Chen wouldn't. Ever since he started cultivating, no one could scare him away. The stronger the opponent was, the more it could ignite his fighting spirit. Su Chen, what should we do? Nan Lichuan asked anxiously. The others all looked at Su Chen. Su Chen smirked and said calmly, kill as many as they come. Although the opponent had many people, the only one that could threaten him was that saint-level demonic beast. As long as he could kill that saint-level demonic beast, the other level 10 cultivators would be like ants. Hearing this, Shang Caili, Nan Lichuan, and Yuqi Jingyang all gasped. On the other hand, Wu Yazi and Li Kueyang were much calmer. When they were in the abandoned land, they had faced dozens of times more powerful cultivators, but they still managed to kill almost all of them. That was why they didn't take it to heart. On the other hand, they were full of confidence in Su Chen. Su Chen, can you arrange how to deal with them? Li Kueyang asked. After all, the opponent had many people. If he didn't arrange things in advance, there might be trouble. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and said in a low voice, don't be in a hurry to show yourself. Wait for me to kill that saint-level demonic beast, then we can kill those level 10 cultivators together. Without knowing the strength of the saint-level demonic beast, if Shang Caili and the others were to show themselves, they might be killed instantly. This was the best and safest way. Isn't it too risky for you to go alone? Shang Caili frowned, not agreeing with Su Chen's arrangement. Su Chen smiled and said, don't worry. In the continent, the highest cultivation level is level 10, and a level 10 cultivator can't break through my defense. He had the ancient godfiend body and was invincible among his peers. There was indeed nothing to worry about. Let's listen to Su Chen. Wu Yazi expressed his opinion. Thinking of Su Chen's terrifying strength and incomparably tough body, he didn't think that Su Chen would have any problems. Since that's the case, then we'll listen to your arrangements. However, if you encounter any danger, you must contact us immediately. Shang Caili heavily exhorted. Su Chen was now the hope for the Sun Moon Star Palace to rise again. She did not want anything to happen to Su Chen. Su Chen nodded and then put Shang Caili and the others into the chaos space along with the intelligent war chariot. He stood on the surface of the sea and quietly waited for the other party's arrival. A few minutes later, with a monstrous murderous aura, the saint-level sea demon beast flew to a place 100 meters away from Su Chen and stopped. At this time, the humans and aliens standing on the body of the saint-level sea demon beast were sizing up Su Chen. Su Chen glanced at them and sneered. Are you here to die? Arrogant. A human old man shouted and then laughed contemptuously. Su Chen, don't boast shamelessly. Today, even if you have the ability to reach the heavens, you can forget about escaping from our hands. Su Chen, you've killed countless of my clansmen. If you kill yourself here, I might consider leaving your corpse intact. Otherwise, I'll make sure you don't even have a corpse left. A night demon clansman shouted. Chapter 792. Su Chen rubbed his nose and said sarcastically, you two trash can only talk. I'm standing right here. Come and kill me if you can. The human elder and the night demons looked at each other, but none of them dared to make a move. A person's reputation was like a tree's shadow. Su Chen could even kill a sage-level existence. If they really went to fight with Su Chen, they might be killed instantly. Don't waste time with him. Let's do it. At this time, a member of the Sea clan walked forward and pointed his hand forward. The seawater in front of him suddenly began to churn. The next moment, a giant hand formed from the turbulent seawater and pressed down on Su Chen's head. Child's play. Su Chen sneered and threw out a Pegasus meteor punch. Hundreds of golden fist shadows smashed down at the same time and instantly smashed the giant seawater hand into pieces. When a large amount of seawater fell from the sky, a purple light flashed under Su Chen's feet. He turned into a streak of light and charged toward the sage-level demon expert. Stop him. Seeing Su Chen descending like a god of death, the human elder was scared out of his wits and shouted loudly. Su Chen was ferocious and powerful. His strength was unparalleled. The others knew this and did not dare to let Su Chen get close to them. Immediately, a few spiritual psyche masters released various spells and bombarded Su Chen. The spiritual psyche masters, led by the man from the God clan, also released their spiritual power to crush Su Chen. In the face of such ferocious attacks, Su Chen turned a blind eye. He did not dodge and took it head-on. Is he crazy? Witnessing this scene, the group of experts opened their mouths wide in shock, unable to be any more shocked. Some even sneered, thinking that Su Chen would be seriously injured even if he did not die. Do you think you're invincible? The night demons mocked wildly. However, what happened next left everyone dumbfounded. The night demon clansman's jaws almost dropped. All of the spell techniques struck Su Chen's body, only to be repelled in a peculiar manner. As for those spiritual powers that swept over, most of them were torn apart by Su Chen's powerful physical body. Only the mental strength released by the male Protoss left a shallow scar on Su Chen's body, but it was not a big deal. Su Chen also noticed this point. He found that the spirit race man's spiritual force contained a trace of space-cutting power. It was very likely that he had entered the void battleground and awakened some special ability that could cause him some damage. However, this bit of power was nothing more than an itch to him. A bunch of trash. Su Chen snorted coldly and continued to charge forward. Let's fight. Just as Su Chen was about to reach them, the three strange races with horns on their heads looked at each other and threw out a large silver net. At first, this large silver net was only about 10 feet in size, but when it spread out in the wind, it grew to 100 feet in size and covered Su Chen. As the distance was too close, Su Chen could not dodge in time. At the critical moment, he quickly took out the integrated 5 Extremes mountain to block in front of him. In the next moment, the large silver net covered Su Chen and the integrated 5 Extremes mountain together. Let's see how you're going to escape from our silver spirit sky net. The three strange races who had thrown themselves into the horns began to laugh wantonly, as if they were treating Su Chen like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. You want to trap me with a mere divine weapon? Su Chen sneered and controlled the integrated 5 Extremes mountain to collide with the silver spirit sky net. Chapter 793. There was a loud bang. The collision of the primordial 5 Extremes mountain was like an earthquake. The silver spirit sky capturing net trembled violently as if it was wailing. However, although the collision was powerful, it did not destroy the silver spirit sky capturing net. The three horned foreign beings heaved a collective sigh of relief upon seeing this. This is a good opportunity. Let's join forces and kill him. Seeing that Su Chen was really trapped, the man from the Night Demon clan was overjoyed. He held a long black sword in his hand and took the lead to attack Su Chen. The others reacted and attacked Su Chen together. Clang. The man from the Night Demon clan hacked at Su Chen's chest with his sword, but it was as if he had hacked at an iron plate. There was a sound of metal clashing. How is this possible? The man from the Night Demon clan took a few steps back with his huge sword in hand. He looked at Su Chen in horror and his head was buzzing. The others also stopped at this moment, their faces full of shock and doubt. Previously, Su Chen's ability to ignore spell techniques and spiritual power attacks had already made them feel incredulous. They did not expect that Su Chen could even ignore physical attacks. Didn't this mean that Su Chen was an existence that could not be killed? What was the point of continuing to kill? At this moment, Su Chen's eyes gradually narrowed. Then, a faint golden light appeared on his palms. Then, he grabbed the silver spirit sky capturing net with both hands and activated the 100 times great strength technique. With a crack, a hole was torn in the silver spirit sky capturing net. Damn it! Witnessing this scene, everyone was stunned. He could tear a divine artifact apart with his bare hands. How strong was his physique and how terrifying was his strength to do this? Was Su Chen still human? An extreme feeling of fear spread in the hearts of the experts. In the face of a terrifying existence like Su Chen, they were at a loss. They could not kill him nor could they trap him. What method could they use to deal with Su Chen? Everyone was at a loss. Crack. Accompanied by another crisp sound, Su Chen tore open an opening once again. He was about to make his way out of the silver spirit heaven capturing net. What to do? Everyone was scared to death. Once Su Chen broke free, how terrible would that be? If things went wrong, all of them might die here. Since I can't kill him, I'll just trap him until he dies. Suddenly, an aged voice reverberated in the air. The one who spoke was none other than the saint-stage demonic beast that had yet to make a move. It leaped up from the sea and opened its mouth to bite Su Chen. Su Chen was unable to escape in a short amount of time. He could only watch as a black hole came down on him. In the next moment, he felt the world spin before his eyes as if he had experienced a teleportation. When his vision gradually became clear, he was surprised to find that he was in the middle of a vast grassland. The surrounding greenery was overflowing, and a gentle breeze was blowing. A very pleasant feeling welled up in his heart. Have I been teleported to a grassland? Su Chen narrowed his eyes and glanced at it, muttering to himself. After standing on the spot for a while, he broke all the silver spirit heaven snaring net on his body. Then he leaped into the air and looked around. He saw that the grassland below was boundless, as if it extended to the horizon. Su Chen faintly felt that something was wrong. After thinking for a while, he took out the intelligent war chariot and said, "Satoshi, explore. How big is this grassland?" "Master, the space here is very strange. I can't explore it," the intelligent war chariot immediately replied. "Can't explore it?" Su Chen frowned deeply. It was the first time that the intelligent war chariot had encountered such a situation, which made him a little worried. Chapter 794. In order to figure out where they were, Su Chen opened the chaos space, and called out Wu Yazi and the others. "Where is this place?" Yuchi Jingyang exclaimed softly. "They were still in the sea before, how did they come to the grassland in the blink of an eye?" "Su Chen, you haven't been teleported, have you?" Wu Yazi asked with a frown. Suddenly coming from the sea to the grassland could only be done through teleportation, so he had his suspicions. "Something like that." Su Chen nodded and explained what had happened. Hearing this, Shang Tsai and the others looked at each other. Being swallowed by a saint-level demon beast and being teleported to another place, this was too strange. Li Kuiyang pondered for a while, and his expression suddenly changed. "We should be in a dream." "What? Dream?" Everyone looked at Li Kuiyang with their mouths slightly open. Li Kuiyang coughed softly and explained, "A few years ago, I heard that the sea race has a saint-level demon beast, Dreamy. It has a special ability, Dream Creation Space, and once swallowed into the dream, you will never be able to escape." Dream Creation Space? Were they really trapped in the dream? Everyone's expression was a little ugly. "Senior, how can we break this dream?" Su Chen asked. He didn't want to be trapped in the dream for the rest of his life, and if he wanted to leave here, he had to defeat it. From another perspective, the dream creation space can be considered an illusion, and it is constructed with mental power. If you want to break it, you have to use some extremely lethal mental power secret technique. Li Kuiyang said with a solemn expression. High-level spirit readers were rare, and those who had mental power secret techniques could be counted on one hand. Among them, only Su Chen was a spirit reader. But as far as he knew, Su Chen didn't have any mental power secret techniques. In this way they could be trapped in the dream creation space. Mental power secret technique? Su Chen narrowed his eyes and muttered, and his eyes suddenly lit up. In the Doomsday Merchant Center, there was a secret technique called Blade of Consciousness that required 5,000 energy points to exchange for. Although he wasn't sure if Blade of Divine Sense was a spiritual secret technique, judging from the name, it was most likely related to spiritual power. Given the current situation, if he didn't try, he would definitely not be able to escape. Anyway, he still had more than 10,000 energy points. Su Chen simply exchanged for a Blade of Divine Awareness. The moment the exchange was successful, the feedback was quickly transmitted to his mind. After reading it, Su Chen was overjoyed. Divine Sense Blade was indeed a spiritual force secret technique. Once it was used, spiritual force would turn into thousands of blades that would wreak havoc in the surrounding space. It could destroy the spiritual force that enveloped the surroundings overnight. It could be said that the Blade of Divine Sense was not very effective against evolvers and spirit readers, but it was the bane of spirit readers. Especially in a situation where the difference in their spiritual powers was not too far apart, it was even easier to defeat the opponent with a single blow. Since the dream creation space was constructed with spiritual force, it shouldn't be a big problem to use the Blade of Divine Sense to destroy it. "Everyone, I have a way to destroy this space," Su Chen said solemnly. "Really?" Everyone was pleasantly surprised and looked at Su Chen. Ever since they met Su Chen, they knew that Su Chen was a person who created miracles time and time again. Could it continue this time? Everyone was looking forward to it. Su Chen nodded and said, "When the dream is broken, there will be a big battle. Everyone should be prepared." Chapter 795. As soon as he finished speaking, Su Chen flew into the air and released the Divine Sense Blade. Instantly, thousands of invisible blades shot out in all directions. Wherever they passed, ripples appeared in the void and there was a faint sound of something shattering. As the sound of something shattering increased, the entire void showed signs of collapsing. The grassland on the ground seemed to be affected and was disappearing in large patches. Seeing this, Wu Yazi and the others were extremely excited. For the dream realm to appear in such a situation, it meant that it was about to be destroyed. "I have never admired anyone in my life. Su Chen is the first." Yuchi Jingyang sighed with emotion. "If you admire him so much, you might as well join the Sun Moon Star Palace. After all, Su Chen will be the head of the Sun Moon Star Palace sooner or later. Shang Tsili laughed softly. Yuchi Jingyang pinched his chin and muttered, I can consider it. The flowing water sect had already been destroyed. To rebuild it would be as difficult as ascending to the heavens. If he joined the Sun Moon Star Palace and followed Su Chen, he would have a great chance of creating a glorious future. Are you really interested? Shang Tsili opened her mouth slightly. Originally she was just joking. She didn't think that Yuchi Jingyang would really want to join the Sun Moon Star Palace. After all, Yuchi Jingyang was a rank 10 cultivator. If he joined the Sun Moon Star Palace, he would be like a tiger that had grown wings. Moreover, she could guess that the reason why Yuchi Jingyang had such an idea was definitely because of Su Chen's charm. At the same time, in the sea region, there was a wave of compliments. So what if Su Chen couldn't be killed? Didn't Senior Meng Yi still swallow him? Senior Meng Yi's dream creation ability is superb. She is indeed the #1 sacred beast of the sea race. This time, it is all thanks to Senior Meng Yi's efforts that we were able to turn the tide. Otherwise we would have all died. Just as the group of experts was praising her, Meng Yi's eyes revealed an extremely painful expression. The sea race expert noticed this and asked softly, Senior Meng Yi, what's the problem? Meng Yi gritted her teeth. Just as she was about to reply, blood suddenly gushed out from her 7 orifices and a large hole appeared on her back. He saw Su Chen and the others rushing out of the cave. My dream creation space has been destroyed. Meng Yi cried out in pain. The dream-making space was his natal theurgy. Once it was destroyed, the damage done to it was immeasurable. At this moment, it was heavily injured and on the verge of death. How could this be? The Sea Tribe man stood in a daze, murmuring to himself. He could not understand why Meng Yi, as the #1 sacred beast of the sea race, could trap even a saint-level expert in her dream creation space. Why was it ineffective against Su Chen? Could it be that Su Chen was an unkillable existence? The moment the other experts saw Su Chen appear, they were scared out of their wits. They looked at each other and fled for their lives. With Su Chen's brutal means, once he was caught, it was very likely that he would be killed on the spot. Who would be foolish enough to stay here? As for fighting Su Chen to the death? Don't even think about it. Even the saint-level Meng Yi was no match for him. In Su Chen's eyes they were even less than ants. Let's attack together and leave a few alive. Su Chen roared and attacked Meng Yi first. Wu Yazi and the others also looked for targets to attack. For a moment, the entire sea region was filled with raging waves and shrill screams. Su Chen chopped down with his saber and killed the heavily injured Meng Yi. Then he punched the Sea Tribe man to death. Following that, a dazzling purple light flashed under his feet. He turned into a flash of light and chased after the 3 strange races with horns. Chapter 796. With 2 loud bangs, 2 of the horned aliens were killed on the spot by Su Chen. Although the other one was not dead, he was severely injured by Su Chen and lost the ability to move. He spared his life because it was his first time seeing such an alien and he wanted to confirm which race he was from. Then he quickly went to kill the others. Half an hour later, Su Chen returned to the intelligent war chariot, with an elderly human and the horned alien. As for the other humans and aliens, they had all been killed. Su Chen, this guy is the head of the Ling family, Ling Xiaotian. Shang Tsili pointed at the elderly human and reminded him. Su Chen nodded slightly. He was not in a hurry to interrogate him. Instead, he asked the horned alien, which race are you from? Senior Su, I'm the chief of the horned demon race, Lung Jiqing. Lung Jiqing knelt at Su Chen's feet and said in a trembling voice, Horned demon race? Su Chen muttered and snorted. Who told you to ambush me here? Jin Yonan of the god race, Lung Jiqing hurriedly replied. Su Chen pondered for a moment and quickly remembered that Jin Yonan was the father of Jin Su, whom he had killed. The hatred for his son's death was irreconcilable. It was understandable that Jin Yonan wanted to avenge Jin Su. However, he seemed to remember that Jin Yonan was only at level 9. How could a level 9 send a level 10 fighter to kill him? You listened to Jin Yonan's orders? Su Chen narrowed his eyes and stared coldly at Lung Jiqing. Senior, the horned demon race is a subordinate force of the god race. Jin Yonan has a saint-level fighter behind him. We have no choice but to listen to his orders, Lung Jiqing hurriedly explained. In other words, they did not want to come here to kill him. It was all Jin Yonan's fault. Su Chen pursed his lips. I don't care if you were forced or not. Since you dared to kill me, you should be prepared to be killed. Just as he was about to attack, Lung Jiqing suddenly shouted, Senior, don't kill me. I can give you something in exchange. Tell me. Su Chen stopped. There was no difference between killing Leng Jiqing and crushing an ant. There was no harm in listening to what he had to say, and then it wouldn't be too late to act. I have news about the machinery hive mind, Li Jiqing said without hesitation. Mechanical heart? Hearing this name, Su Chen's heart thumped fiercely, and his eyes shone with an intense light. The mechanical heart was something that could upgrade the intelligent war chariot and awaken the golden puppet. It was simply too important to him. Where is it? Su Chen asked anxiously. Leng Jiqing could see that Su Chen seemed to be particularly concerned about the machinery hive mind. He thought for a moment and said, "Senior, I can tell you about the machinery hive mind, but you must swear to spare my life." He knew that this was his only chance to survive. Whether Su Chen agreed or not, he had to try. Su Chen rubbed his nose as a bone-chilling expression appeared on his face. He glanced at Leng Jiqing, opened the chaos space, and called Chao Ran out. Since Leng Jiqing did not know what was good for him, he could only use punishment. "Qinggu, what's the matter?" Chao Ran was a little confused when Su Chen suddenly called him out. Su Chen stretched out his hand and pointed at Leng Jiqing, saying coldly, "Torture him. Let him experience what it means to live a life worse than death." Understood. Chao Ran licked his lips and walked toward Leng Jiqing excitedly. Su Chen released his mental power and restrained Leng Jiqing, making it easier for Chao Ran to act. Chapter 797. Ah! Inside the car, Leng Jiqing's shrill scream rang out. In the face of such torture, not many people can withstand it, even if they have reached level 10. Ling Xiaotian, who was next to him, couldn't help but tremble when he saw this scene, and cold sweat broke out on his back. Leng Jiqing screamed for a while, and the last line of defense in his heart finally collapsed. He begged for mercy. "Senior, I'll tell you everything. Wouldn't it be better if you were so tactful earlier?" Su Chen curled his lips, motioning Chao Ran to stop, and then said lightly, "Say it, don't make me wait too long." Leng Jiqing gasped for breath and said truthfully, "A mechanical heart has appeared in the Elf continent, and a large number of powerhouses are rushing to the Elf continent at this moment." The Elf continent? Su Chen raised his eyebrows. Not only had he heard of the Elf continent, but he had also made a deal with the Elf Princess Moon Spirit. Strictly speaking, he had helped Moon Spirit. "Where did you get this news?" Su Chen stared at Leng Jiqing and asked sternly. The mechanical heart was in or that provided energy for the saint-level puppets, and its preciousness was self-evident. No matter who it was, as long as they got the mechanical heart they would definitely hide it, so how did the news spread out? "I learned about it from the Protoss," Leng Jiqing replied and then explained, "Rumor has it that in half a month, an auction will be held in the Moonshine City, the holy city of the Elf continent, and the mechanical heart will be auctioned." Hearing this, Su Chen pondered. Logically speaking, something as precious as the mechanical heart would not appear in an auction, but there was no guarantee that someone would take the risk of auctioning it due to the lack of cultivation resources. "Satoshi, is there a boundary point that leads to the Elf continent nearby?" Su Chen asked. The mechanical heart was related to whether the golden puppet could be awakened, and he planned to go to the Elf continent to take a look. "No. The intelligent war vehicle," replied. Although the intelligent war vehicle has opened the function of traversing between realms, it still needs to find the corresponding boundary point. Otherwise it would be easy to enter the realms of other races. "Su Chen, are you not going to Qingyan Island?" Wu Yazi probed. "Let's go to the Elf continent for now," Su Chen said in a deep voice. The purpose of going to Green Cloud Island was to find the Tree of Life. The value of the Tree of Life was actually above the mechanical heart. However, he did not know if there was a Tree of Life on Qingyan Island, so it did not matter if he went later. The Moonlight City auction was about to begin. If he missed it, he would most likely lose the mechanical heart. Given how precious the machinery heart was, if he missed this opportunity, who knew when he would be able to obtain it again? However, it wasn't easy to travel to the Elven continent. First, they had to determine the boundary point. Su Chen thought that there must be a boundary point that connects to the Elf race's continent near the Void Pierce stage because Moon Spirit had once appeared on Void Pierce Island. However, Chongshu Island was too far away from here. Once he got there, maybe the auction in the Moonshine City would have already ended. "How can I quickly enter the Elf continent?" Su Chen frowned and pondered. Suddenly, his eyes lit up and he asked Leng Jiqing, "Does your Horn Demon race have a boundary passage that connects to the Elf continent?" If there was a boundary passage between the two continents, it meant that the two continents were very close to each other. Then it would be easy to determine a boundary point and travel to the Elf continent. There is one, but only level 6 cultivators are allowed to enter freely, Ling Jiqing replied. Su Chen was delighted. As long as he could confirm that there was a boundary passage, everything else would be easy. Chapter 798. Satoshi, is there a horned demon boundary point nearby? Su Chen asked. If there was a boundary point, they only needed to enter the horned demon race's continent and then enter the elf race's continent. This way they had a high chance of reaching the Moonshine City before the auction started. 800 miles ahead, there is a boundary point that leads to the horned demon race's continent. You can enter the horned demon race's continent, the intelligent war chariot replied with certainty. Good, head to that boundary point immediately and enter the horned demon race's continent. Su Chen put Mengyi's body into his storage bag and then gave the order. Yes. The intelligent war chariot picked up speed and flew forward. Su Chen glanced at Ling Jiqing and Ling Xiaotian and said to himself, I'll let you two live for a while longer. Entering the horned demon race's continent and being unfamiliar with the place, it would be more convenient with Ling Jiqing, the patriarch of the horned demon race, leading the way. As for Ling Xiaotian, he still had some things to ask him, so he would let him live for the time being. The intelligent war chariot found the boundary point and activated the shuttle function, easily entering the horned demon race's continent. It was the first time Ling Jiqing and Ling Xiaotian had experienced such an unbelievable thing and were stunned. Satoshi, is there a boundary point that leads to the elf race nearby? Su Chen asked immediately. No. The intelligent war chariot searched for a while and immediately replied. Su Chen did not care and turned to Ling Jiqing and said coldly, You lead the way to the boundary passage that leads to the elf race. If you dare to play tricks, be careful of your head. I don't dare. Ling Jiqing trembled in fear and obediently led the intelligent war chariot in the right direction. Su Chen turned his gaze to Ling Xiaodan and asked indifferently, Tell me who ordered you to kill me? It was the saint-level ancestors of the sanctuary who ordered me to do so. Ling Xiaotian hurriedly said. After seeing Su Chen's cruel methods, he did not dare to hide anything. Which saint-level ancestors are there? Su Chen rubbed his nose and asked calmly. He had already guessed that the saint-level ancestors of the human race would send people to kill him. What he wanted to know was, who exactly were these people? When he advanced to the saint stage, he would definitely slaughter them all. Apart from the Sun Moon Star Palace's saint-level ancestors, all the other saint-level ancestors have the same intention. Ling Xiaotian gritted his teeth and said. *CK. Su Chen could not help but curse. It was true that he had offended many people, but he couldn't afford to offend all the saint-level ancestors. Those saint-level ancestors who had nothing to do with him also wanted to kill him. They had gone too far. What's the situation with our Sun Moon Star Palace's forefather Warsky? Shang Tsili asked anxiously. Forefather Warsky was related to her by blood, so she was very concerned about his safety. I think he's under house arrest. Lin Xiaotian replied. Shang Tsili heaved a sigh of relief. Although he was under house arrest, at least his life was not in danger. Don't worry, Sect Master. I will definitely think of a way to save Ancestor Warsky. Su Chen comforted. Su Chen, thank you. Shang Tsili said gratefully. If someone else said this, she would definitely think that they were boasting shamelessly. However, Su Chen was different. Everyone knew about Su Chen's talent and strength. It would not be long before he advanced to the saint stage. At that time, who would be a match for Su Chen? Therefore, Shang Tsili trusted Su Chen's words completely. Chapter 799. We're family. You don't have to be so courteous with me, Sect Master. Su Chen smiled and turned to Ling Xiaotian. How many sage-level humans are there in the holy region? Since the sage-level humans wanted to kill him, he naturally wanted to teach them a lesson. He wanted to see how many people wanted to go against him. I'm not sure exactly how many there are, but there are at least a few dozen of them. Ling Xiaotian thought for a moment and replied. Su Chen estimated that the number was about right. Every major force in the mysterious heavenly continent had one or two sage-level humans. In addition to the countless islands, it was normal for there to be a few dozen sage-level humans. Since he had asked all the questions he wanted, there was no need for Ling Xiaotian to stay. Su Chen punched Ling Xiaotian's head without warning and threw his body out of the car. Ling Jiqing's teeth chattered when he saw this. Su Chen killed him without any hesitation, which was a huge blow to him. After killing Ling Xiaotian, Su Chen clapped his hands and sat in the driver's seat as if he had done something insignificant. He began to organize the fragments that he had obtained earlier. After killing a sage-level demon beast and a dozen foreign tribesmen, he had obtained a total of more than 10,000 fragments. It was a huge harvest. After that, under Leng Jiqing's guidance, the intelligent war chariot sped along without facing any obstacles. Could be said that it was very smooth. However, after driving for 5 days, they still had not reached the interworld passage that connected to the elf tribe. This aroused Su Chen's suspicion. Leng, you're not playing any tricks on me, are you? Why haven't we reached the destination yet? Su Chen asked coldly. Leng Jiqing was shocked. He was afraid that Su Chen would kill him if he was unhappy. He quickly explained, Senior, we're almost there. It'll take half a day at most. Su Chen snorted and sat back in the driver's seat. He could afford to wait for half a day. If Leng Jiqing dared to play any tricks, he would make Leng Jiqing regret living in this world. Half a day passed in a flash. When a huge stone tower appeared in front of the intelligent war chariot, Leng Jiqing suppressed his excitement and said to Su Chen, Elder, the domain passage is in the stone tower. Su Chen nodded slightly and said to the intelligent war chariot, Satoshi, check that stone tower. Is there a domain passage? You can even investigate? When Leng Jiqing heard this, his face suddenly became abnormally ugly, and at the same time his heart thumped wildly. Master, there is no realm passage inside, but there is a saint-level existence and several level 9 cultivators, the intelligent war chariot immediately reminded him. There was no realm passage, but there was a saint-level existence? Su Chen immediately realized that he had been deceived, and his face was filled with bone-chilling coldness. Do you know the consequences of lying to me? Su Chen sneered. He reached out and grabbed one of Leng Jiqing's arms, then pulled hard. A crack sound was heard. Leng Jiqing's entire arm was severed at the base, and bright red blood flowed out, drenching half of his body red. However, Leng Jiqing endured the pain and shouted in the direction of the stone tower, Ancestor, save me! As if hearing Leng Jiqing's cry for help, a terrifying pressure suddenly swept over from the stone tower. Then, an old man with horns on his head shot out of the stone tower and came in front of the intelligent war chariot, in the blink of an eye. At the same time, 5 level 9 cultivators followed closely behind and surrounded the intelligent war chariot. Chapter 800. Let go of Leng Jiqing, or I'll make you beg for death. The horned demon Saint Level howled angrily. The immense pressure swept over again, causing the intelligent war chariot to tremble slightly. Su Chen, our ancestor is here. As long as you let me go, I can plead for you and let you live. Leng Jiqing also threatened at this moment. Su Chen pursed his lips and slapped Li Jiqing's mouth, causing his entire jaw to collapse. Ugh! Leng Jiqing wailed in pain after suffering such a heavy blow. Su Chen grabbed Leng Jiqing's neck with one hand and dragged him off the chariot. Wu Yazi and the others followed closely behind. Facing a saint-level existence, they were all calm and fearless. After all, with Su Chen around, even a saint level couldn't do much. Human, do you want to die? The horned demon Saint Level was enraged when he saw Leng Jiqing being tortured. An extremely strong murderous aura surrounded him. His murderous aura soared as if he wanted to skin Su Chen alive. You're just an ant. How dare you be so arrogant in front of me? Su Chen smiled contemptuously and crushed Leng Jiqing's head. You, the horned demon Saint Level was so angry that his mouth trembled. He could no longer suppress the anger in his heart and charged at Su Chen. Su Chen had gone too far by killing Leng Jiqing in front of him. At this moment he swore to himself that he would definitely cut Su Chen into pieces. At the same time that the horned demon Saint Level attacked, the 5 level 9 cultivators also surrounded him. Wu Yazi and the others looked at each other and found their own opponents to fight. Su Chen opened the pet rearing space and summoned the gold devouring bug. He pointed at the horned demon Saint Level and said in a low voice, "Little bug, go and meet him." The gold-devouring bug had already reached level 10. Other than him, almost no one could suppress it at level 10. On the continent, the horned demon saints could only unleash the power of level 10 at most. They might not be a match for the gold-devouring beetles. The gold-devouring beetles charged ferociously at the night demon saints upon receiving the order. Bang! The night demon saint's fist landed on the gold-devouring bug's body, but it only made it sway slightly. On the other hand, he was struck by the gold-devouring beetle's claw and was forced back dozens of steps before he could stabilize himself. Level 10 gold-devouring beetles. After recognizing the true identity of the gold-devouring beetles, the horned demon saint was shocked. The gold-devouring beetles had an extremely strong defense. It was almost impossible to find a match for them in the same realm. If they were in the void, he could rely on his level advantage to crush the gold-devouring beetles. However, on the continent, his level was suppressed to level 10. It was impossible for him to defeat the gold-devouring beetles of the same level. While the horned demon sages were still in a daze, they suddenly heard a few screams. He looked up and saw that his 5 level 9 subordinates had all been killed. They're all level 10 cultivators. Seeing this, the horned demon saint's expression turned extremely ugly. A level 10 gold-devouring beetle was enough to make him suffer. Now that there were multiple level 10 cultivators, he was in an extremely dangerous situation. If he was not careful, he might even lose his life here. When he thought of this, he changed his mind and turned to flee. "You think you can escape?" Su Chen smiled condescendingly. Then he released his spiritual energy and easily trapped the horned demon saint where he was. What terrifying spiritual energy! The horned demon saint's expression changed again as if he was in a swamp. He knew that if he was trapped here, it would be impossible for him to escape when the gold-devouring beetles and the level 10 cultivators arrived. "You want to trap me? Dream on." The horned demon saint clenched his teeth and spat out a mouthful of blood onto the horn on his head. Chapter 801. In the next moment, a layer of blood-red light shone from the black, sharp horn. Like a shield, it enveloped the horned demon sage. This blood-red shield seemed to have a strange tearing power. The blood-red light flashed slightly and easily tore apart the spiritual energy attached to the shield. The horned demon sages that had regained their freedom wanted to continue running, but they were blocked by the gold-devouring beetles that were charging towards them. Scram! The horned demon sage was furious. He clenched his fist and punched. There was a loud boom. The punch landed solidly on the gold-devouring beetle's body and sent it flying. "You've become so strong?" Su Chen narrowed his eyes and muttered. He saw clearly that the horned demon sage had used some kind of secret technique. When the blood-red shield appeared, his defense and strength increased by several times. It was impossible for the gold-devouring bugs to stop him now. "None of the people I want to kill can escape." A sneer appeared at the corner of Su Chen's mouth. His feet instantly flashed with a bewitching purple light, then he chased after Yi Qingyu. After a few breaths, he had already appeared in front of the horned demon sage, blocking his path. "Why are you so fast?" The horned demon sage's heart thumped. He clenched his teeth and punched at Su Chen. "You want to compete with me in strength?" Su Chen curled his lips. He activated the golden scales of the arm and the 100 times strength technique at the same time. Then he stretched out his hand and grabbed the fist that was coming at him. "Go to hell." Seeing how arrogant Su Chen was, the horned demon sage was overjoyed. The blood-red shield on his body was a bloodline power awakened in the void battlefield. It could increase his strength by several times. This punch was like the combined attack of several level 10 cultivators. It was so powerful that even the gold-devouring bugs could not block it. Su Chen was only a level 10 human. If he dared to take this attack head-on, he would be courting death. However, what happened next stunned the horned demon saint level powerhouses. Not only was his punch unable to send Su Chen flying, but he was also firmly clamped down, unable to even struggle free. "Why is your strength so great?" The horned demon sage level expert stared at Su Chen with his eyes wide open. His eyes were filled with disbelief and fear. Su Chen ignored him. With a sudden burst of strength, he slammed the horned demon saint to the ground. A loud bang was heard. The horned demon saint level expert fell heavily to the ground. The earth trembled and dense cracks appeared on the ground. The horned demon saint level expert was lying on the ground, dizzy from the fall. His face was filled with confusion. A dignified saint level powerhouse was thrown to the ground like a dead dog? Unexpectedly, before he could catch his breath, he was once again lifted into the air by Su Chen. Then he made another intimate contact with the ground. Under the huge impact, blood flowed from the corner of the horned demon sage level expert's mouth. He knew very well that he would be smashed to death sooner or later if he continued like this. He shouted, "Stop. Let's talk." "Talk my ass." Su Chen was unmoved and continued to attack. Bang bang. For a moment, the earth trembled and loud bangs echoed in the surroundings. Su Chen actually used such a method to deal with a saint-level existence. He's too powerful. Seeing this, Wu Yazi and the others were shocked. Chapter 802. Su Chen didn't know how many times he had smashed the horned demon saint-level expert's body, but he only stopped when a large amount of shards had appeared. The shards meant that the horned demon saint-level expert had completely fallen. What a piece of trash. Su Chen glanced at the corpse of the horned demon saint-level expert and snorted softly before collecting the shards. He then called for everyone to return to the chariot. Satoshi, search for any horned demons nearby. Su Chen said immediately. Since he didn't know the exact location of the realm passage to the elves, he had to capture a few horned demons to lead the way. Master, we discovered a few horned demons 50 kilometers ahead. The intelligent war chariot searched and immediately replied. All right, lock onto them and capture them immediately, Su Chen ordered. Yes. The intelligent war chariot moved at full speed and quickly caught up to the horned demons. Su Chen slowly got out of the carriage and swept his gaze across the 5 horned demon clansmen. He coldly said, the few of you who know the exact location of the realm passage that connects to the elves can live. Human, how did you enter the horned demon continent? Answer truthfully or we won't be polite. A level 5 horned demon didn't take Su Chen's words seriously and instead shouted at Su Chen. Su Chen didn't hold back either. He released his mind power and slowly crushed the horned demon's body. After witnessing Su Chen's powerful strength and brutal methods, the remaining horned demon clansmen were so scared that their bodies began to tremble. Do you know? Su Chen reached out and pointed at a short horned demon. Senior, I don't know. The horned demon was shocked and hurriedly replied. Su Chen snorted coldly and controlled his mind power to kill the horned demon on the spot. Then, his gaze fell on the remaining 3 horned demon clansmen. 2 of them actually turned around and ran after looking at each other. However, it had only taken a few steps before it exploded and died. Since you didn't run, it seems like you already know? Su Chen looked at the last horned demon clansman and said calmly. Junior indeed knows. The horned demon clansman shuddered as he replied with a trembling voice. Su Chen nodded slightly. Lead the way. When we get there, I will spare your life. Thank you, senior. The horned demon clansman let out a heavy sigh. Later, under the guidance of the horned demon, the intelligent war chariot drove in a certain direction. 5 days later, they successfully arrived at a place a few miles away from the realm passage. After confirming that there was a world junction connected to the elven continent nearby, Su Chen released the horned demon. Later, the intelligent war chariot activated the shuttle function and entered the elf continent from this boundary point. As soon as they entered the elf continent, the first thing they saw was a dense forest. It seemed to be boundless and they couldn't see the end of it. Su Chen glanced around and said to the intelligent war chariot, Satoshi, search around. Are there any elves around? They had just entered the elf continent and were unfamiliar with the place. If they wanted to hurry to Moonshine City as soon as possible, they had to find the elves to inquire. Master, we didn't find any elves, but there is a level 8 monster not far away, the intelligent war chariot replied. A level 8 monster had already gained intelligence and could speak human language. Perhaps they could get some information by capturing and interrogating it. Even if they didn't know anything, it didn't matter. If they killed it, they could obtain a level 8 energy stone and a large number of fragments. Chapter 803. Satoshi, fly over and catch it, Su Chen ordered. Yes. The intelligent war chariot locked onto the level 8 beast and sped forward. When it was less than 100 meters away from the beast, the intelligent war chariot suddenly said, Master, it has discovered us and has begun to flee. Its speed is even faster than mine. Su Chen made a sound of surprise. The intelligent war chariot's flying speed reached more than 1,000 miles per hour. That level 8 beast was actually faster than the intelligent war chariot. This was somewhat out of his expectations. Satoshi, capture its image, Su Chen ordered. He wanted to see what kind of beast could have such speed. The image on the central control screen changed. Soon, a palm-sized silver bird appeared. It looked very cute and was completely different from a level 8 beast. This is a level 8 beast? Su Chen opened his mouth slightly and was stunned for a moment. Su Chen, this is a swift bird, also known as a treasure-hunting bird. Its population is very rare and it is almost extinct. After Li Kueyang saw the appearance of the silver bird, he suddenly became excited. Senior, what can it do? Su Chen asked in a low voice. Listening to Li Kueyang's tone, this silver bird seemed to have a great background. In addition to being fast, the swift bird also has a very strong perception ability. Not only can it predict the danger around it, but it can also detect whether there are treasures nearby, Li Kueyang explained. Hearing this, Su Chen's eyes suddenly lit up. The swift bird's ability to predict danger and its ability to find treasures was not to be underestimated. If he took it as a spirit pet, it would definitely be of great help. Thinking of this, he opened the door and stood in mid-air. Then he put the intelligent war chariot into the chaos space. Since the intelligent war chariot could not catch up to the swift bird, he could only chase it himself. Satoshi, report the swift bird's location at any time. Suchin ordered and activated the rapid combat boots. Under the guidance of the intelligent war chariot, he quickly chased after them. After reaching level 10, his speed was already extremely fast. Coupled with the acceleration effect of the rapid combat boots, his running speed was even faster than before. In less than 10 minutes, Suchin had already chased the swift bird to less than 20 meters away. He then released his mental power and easily captured it. Let me go. Let me go. The swift alarm bird struggled in fear, roaring and screaming. However, it was only a level 8 demonic beast. How could it break free from Suchin's mental restraint? Suchin manipulated his spiritual force and pulled it closer. He looked at it and said to himself, the taste of a level 8 monster beast should be very good. Should I roast it? Or is it better to fry them? Swift bird was so scared that its whole body trembled. It said loudly, Senior, I'm a swift bird. Not only can I predict danger, but I can also sense if there are treasures nearby. Don't eat me. It still thought that Suchin was going to eat it. It hurriedly said its advantages to move Suchin so that Suchin would change his mind. In that case, you're still useful. Suchin rubbed his nose and pretended to be deep and said, I don't have to eat you, but you have to be my spiritual pet. I'm willing to be Senior's spiritual pet. Swift bird nodded furiously. Seeing this, Suchin couldn't help but smile. Then he took out a bottle of pet potion and fed it to Swift bird. Master, I feel danger. Swift bird had just taken the pet potion, when it suddenly warned. Chapter 804. Danger? Suchin raised his eyebrows and quickly glanced around but found nothing. Where did the danger come from? Thinking of the swift bird's ability to foresee danger, Suchin was not careless and quickly contacted the intelligent war chariot. Satoshi, search around. Is there any unusual movement? No, the intelligent war chariot immediately replied. No. Suchin frowned slightly and was about to release his mental strength to investigate. Right in front of him, ripples suddenly appeared in the void. Immediately after, a cold light flashed from within and shot straight at him. You're courting death. Suchin snorted coldly. A faint golden light appeared on his palm and he punched out. There was a loud bang. Suchin's fist hit the cold light in the middle, but a certain part of the void trembled violently, and circles of ripples appeared. Then 2 beautiful young women appeared from it. One of them was tall and slender, with a trace of heroic spirit in her beautiful eyes. The other person was petite and looked a little mischievous. Both of them had long silver hair, which added a bit of beauty to their appearance. Human, why is your physical body so strong? The tall woman looked at Suchin and let out a soft sound of surprise. There were very few people who could block her blow with their physical body, let alone a weak human. This made her feel very surprised. Suchin ignored her and said coldly, since you launched a sneak attack, you'd better give me a reasonable explanation. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Rude? Do you really think you can be rampant in front of me after blocking my blow? The tall woman laughed and a touch of contempt appeared on her face. She put on a look of disdain as if she didn't take Suchin seriously. Sister, don't say that. The petite woman pulled the tall woman's arm, then turned to Suchin and said embarrassedly, Human friend, my sister attacked you in a hurry because you stole our spiritual pet. Stole your spiritual pet? Suchin's expression froze. He looked down at the swift bird in his hand and said in a deep voice, You mean this swift bird is your spiritual pet? Yes. The petite woman nodded heavily. Human, for the sake of your ignorance, hand over the swift bird and we can pretend that nothing happened. The tall woman stared at Suchin and snorted coldly. Threatening me? Suchin snorted and asked the swift bird, Shaosun, are you their spiritual pet? Master, I'm not their spiritual pet, I was caught by them. The swift bird replied affirmatively. When they heard the quick alarm bird call Suchin master, the tall woman and the man's expression changed. Once a beast recognized its master, it would be difficult to tame it. They had spent a lot of time on the swift alarm bird, so they couldn't accept it. Did you two hear that? The swift bird is my spiritual pet, and you dare to have ideas about it. You're courting death. Suchin shouted coldly. Damn it. The tall woman flew into a rage. She held a silver spear in her hand and stabbed it straight at Su Chen. "Sister, don't do it." The petite woman tried to stop her, but it was too late. Su Chen didn't care at first, but when the silver spear came close, he felt that something was wrong. The silver spear had the power to tear space, which was the same as the space-tearing power released by the Chaos Sky-Splitting Sword. Space Sacred Weapon. Realizing that the silver spear was a space-sacred weapon, Su Chen stopped looking down on it. Chapter 805. Suddenly, a small mountain of multicolored light appeared in front of Su Chen. Clang. Right at this moment, the silver spear collided heavily with the integrated 5 Extremes mountain, emitting a clanging sound. "You have a sacred weapon." The tall woman looked at Su Chen in a daze, her face full of shock. Su Chen snorted and ignored her. Then, he moved and appeared in front of the tall woman. He raised his sword and slashed. In an instant, a white torrent emitting a terrifying wave of ice magic swept forward. Seeing this, the tall woman's eyelids twitched. Su Chen's speed was as fast as lightning, and he was also a high-level Dharma psychic. She found it unbelievable. However, she would not sit still. Just as she was about to use the spear in her hand to block, she suddenly felt an invisible force wrap around her body. All her movements became sluggish. Mental energy? The tall woman's expression changed. If she could not break free in time, she would definitely be frozen by the ice magic. Oh no! The petite woman saw that the situation was critical and appeared in front of the tall woman with a ghostly speed. Then she waved a silver scimitar. Several streaks of silver light streaked across the sky, and a black hole appeared in the void, swallowing the white torrent that was flying toward it. Then the black hole and the white torrent disappeared without a trace. Void transference? Su Chen narrowed his eyes and muttered. The petite woman was also a level 10 cultivator, but her strength was obviously higher than the tall woman. Especially the ability of void transference, it was very strange. It made him wonder if it was a special ability that he had awakened after entering the void battleground. At this time, the petite woman slashed the mental energy around the tall woman. Then she said to Su Chen, "Friend, we don't want the swift bird anymore. Let's leave now." "Wait a minute." Su Chen shouted. "What else do you want?" The tall woman glared at Su Chen angrily. She seemed to be unconvinced, but more than that, she was afraid. Not only did Su Chen have a sacred weapon, but he was also a full-time cultivator. His strength was something she had never seen in her life. If not for the petite woman's help, she might have been captured or killed. Now that she heard that Su Chen did not want them to leave, she was a little uneasy. "You can fight and leave as you wish. How can it be so easy in this world?" Su Chen snorted. Hearing this, the two women's expressions changed. Obviously, Su Chen did not plan to let them go so easily. If it were someone else, they would not have cared. But Su Chen was different. Su Chen was too strong. Even if they joined forces, they might not be a match. The petite girl thought for a moment, then gritted her teeth and said, "If you don't pursue this matter, we can pay you something." "Tell me about it," Su Chen said calmly. He did not attack immediately because he wanted to see if they had anything good. After all, both of them had a sacred weapon each. They were definitely people with a lot of money. "I can give you some healing pills and 10 level 7 energy stones," the petite woman said slowly. Su Chen snorted. She had the nerve to take out such little things? Was she trying to get rid of a beggar? "Your lives are only worth this little?" Su Chen sneered and opened the pet-raising space, and chaos space. He summoned the gold-devouring beetles, Wu Yazi and the others. Chapter 806. Level 10 gold-devouring beetles. And so many level 10 cultivators. When the petite girl and the tall girl saw that Su Chen had summoned so many experts, they were shocked. They didn't even have the confidence to win against Su Chen alone. With the addition of so many experts, their situation became extremely dangerous. After the two looked at each other, they seemed to have made a decision. Their bodies suddenly shone with starlight, and ripples appeared in the surrounding void. "Want to run?" Su Chen snorted lightly, holding a giant black sword in his hand, and swept it across the air. The other party was probably trying to use spatial teleportation to leave this place. The primal Chaos Skysplitter sword had the power to tear space. As long as the surrounding space was disturbed, spatial teleportation would be impossible. As expected, when a black vortex wreaked havoc in the surroundings, the ripples with silver light immediately dissipated. Seeing this scene, the petite girl and the tall girl's faces were extremely ugly. "Are you going to surrender? Or do you want to force me to attack?" Su Chen glanced at the two coldly and said indifferently, "Sister, let's fight it out with him." The tall girl gritted her teeth and put on a desperate posture. The petite girl sighed faintly and turned to the tall girl with a look. "Sister, let's surrender." Surrender? So straightforward? Su Chen was a little surprised. After all, with the other party's strength, they could definitely fight it out. "Sister, what nonsense are you talking about? How can we surrender?" The tall girl's face was sullen. Obviously, she was unwilling to surrender. "Only death awaits you if you don't surrender." Su Chen scolded with a cold face. Then he snorted and said, "If you want to surrender, throw your weapons over first. I'll only give you 3 breaths of time." The other party's 2 weapons were sacred artifacts. Once the 2 girls lost their weapons, their strength would definitely plummet. There was no need to be afraid of them causing trouble. The petite girl did not even think about it. She directly threw the silver scimitar in her hand to Su Chen. Then she snatched the tall girl's silver spear and handed it to Su Chen. Su Chen happily put the 2 sacred artifacts into his storage bag. He turned to the 2 girls and said, "What are your names? Where are you from?" Regardless of whether he killed these 2 people or not, he had to figure out their background before doing so. "My name is Qi Muyu. She is my sister Qi Mushua. We are from the Qi clan of the Void Fortress." The petite girl, Qi Muyu, heaved a sigh of relief and introduced. "Void Fortress?" Su Chen rubbed his nose and muttered. This was the first time he had heard of this name. This was also the first time the others had heard of it, so they were all at a loss. On the other hand, Wu Yazi's expression suddenly changed as he asked, "Your Qi clan's ancestor is Qi Qingxuan?" "Exactly." Qi Muyu nodded. Hiss. Wu Yazi immediately sucked in a breath of cold air, and his expression became abnormally solemn. As a former sage, he had heard of some of the powerful forces in the void. As for the Qi family of the Void Fortress, it was definitely a great power with a thunderous reputation. "Senior, is there a problem?" Seeing the change in Wu Yazi's expression, Su Chen asked in a low voice. Wu Yazi took a deep breath and explained, "The Qi clan is a first-class force in the void. Their ancestor, Qi Qingxuan, is a super powerhouse at the 5th stage of the Saint Stage." 5th stage of the Saint Stage? Shang Kaili and the others opened their eyes wide in shock. One must know that the Sun Moon Star Palace also had 2 Saint Stage ancestors, but they were only at the 1st stage of the Saint Stage. Qi Qingxuan, however, was at the 5th stage of the Saint Stage, which was 4 levels higher than them. He could definitely be called a super powerhouse. Chapter 807. Su Chen's expression froze. He pondered for a moment and asked Wu Yazi, "Senior, there are forces in the void?" According to his understanding, the void was mostly filled with spatial turbulence and there was no place for them to stand. What method did the Qi clan use to stand tall in the void? Wu Yazi replied, "You should know about the void battleground, right? The void battleground is actually a small continent in the void. The void battleground is also a small continent. Furthermore, as they exist in the void, they are constantly being attacked by the void beasts. However, the Qi clan has always been standing tall. From this, it can be seen just how powerful they are." "Oh." Su Chen nodded and was secretly amazed by the Qi clan's strength. The fact that they could fight against the void beasts was enough to prove that the Qi clan was not to be trifled with. "Humans, since you know who we are, do you still dare to capture us? Why don't you hand over the swift bird and our weapons and beg for our forgiveness?" Qi Mushua said proudly. In her opinion, the Qi clan was so powerful that Su Chen must be scared out of his wits. Hearing this, Su Chen's eyes gradually narrowed. He released his mental power without warning. While binding Qi Mushua, he raised his hand and slapped her. A crisp slap resounded in the air. The surroundings immediately fell into a strange silence. Not only were Qi Mushua and Qi Mushua stunned, but even Wu Yazi and the rest were stunned. Qi Mushua was a direct descendant of the Qi clan and had the protection of a stage 5 sage-level expert. How could Su Chen hit her? However, after thinking about Su Chen's style of doing things, Wu Yazi and the rest were relieved. Ever since they knew Su Chen, they had never seen Su Chen afraid of anyone. Especially in the mainland, Su Chen was an existence that could do whatever he wanted. So what if he was a stage 5 sage-level expert? As long as he dared to come to the mainland, he would still be tortured by Su Chen. With strength came confidence. A mere junior from the Qi family dared to clamor in front of Su Chen. It was normal for him to be taught a lesson. "You dare to hit me?" Qi Mushue covered half of her swollen face and her eyes were filled with anger. Su Chen glared at him and scolded, "One more word and I'll kill you on the spot." Was it possible for Qi Muxue to show off in front of him? He would not tolerate Qi Muxue's bad habits. Qi Muxue was so angry that the corners of her mouth twitched. He originally wanted to scold him, but under Su Chen's forceful gaze, he couldn't summon the slightest bit of courage and obediently shut his mouth. "Friend, don't you think you've gone too far?" Qi Muyu said with a sullen face. With the Qi clan's reputation, who wouldn't give them face? However, not only did Su Chen not give her any face, he even attacked her in public, which made her very angry. Gone too far. Su Chen sneered and said coldly, "You guys attacked me first and even wanted to snatch my spiritual pet. You still have the nerve to say that I've gone too far? Don't you have any shame?" Under Su Chen's questioning, Qi Muyu was speechless. Just as Su Chen said, they were indeed in the wrong first. "Then what will it take for you to let us go?" Qi Muyu thought for a while and asked probingly. Su Chen's thoughts slowly turned. If he killed Qi Muyu and Qi Muxue, he could at least obtain a few thousand fragments and 2 sacred artifacts. However, if he did that, he would become enemies with the Qi family, which would not be beneficial for him to travel in the void in the future. It would be better to take the opportunity to extort them. Chapter 808. "It's not that I can't let you go, but you have to give me some compensation," Su Chen said as he rubbed his nose. "What do you want?" Qi Muyu's expression turned serious as she asked. Previously she had given him some things, but Su Chen didn't care about them at all. This meant that Su Chen's appetite was huge and he might ask for an exorbitant price. "The two of you are not only the direct descendants of the Qi clan, but you are also level 10 cultivators. If the things you give are too shabby, it will not be good for your status," Su Chen said as he squinted his eyes. "Indeed, he is going to ask for an exorbitant price." Qi Muyu gritted her teeth as she muttered in her heart. Su Chen purposely pointed out their status and was obviously going to ask for an exorbitant price. This made her very angry, but she couldn't do anything about it. Su Chen took a deep breath and continued, "The Qi clan is also a superpower in the void. You must have accumulated a lot of wealth. Tell me, what good things do you have that are worthy of your status?" The meaning behind his words was obvious. If they couldn't take out some good things, it would be impossible for them to leave this place. Qi Muyu sighed helplessly and said slowly, "I can give you some level 1 void crystals and some high-quality weapons." "Kiki." Su Chen sneered and his expression turned cold. "You want to send me away with these things?" The void crystals were obtained from the void beasts, and their quality was much higher than energy stones. A level 1 void crystal was equivalent to a level 6 energy stone. However, Su Chen had plenty of level 6 energy stones in his storage bag. Why would he be interested in them? As for ordinary weapons, they were even more trash in his eyes. Seeing that Su Chen was a little angry, Qi Muyu's heart trembled. She asked anxiously, "What do you want?" "Energy stones above level 9, demon plant holy items, or ores of the same value as the mechanical heart." "I can barely do it," Su Chen said casually. Qi Muyu and Qi Muxue were dumbfounded. They already knew that Su Chen would demand an exorbitant price, but they didn't expect it to be so exaggerated. The Qi family still had some level 9 energy stones after all. However, the demonic plant holy artifact and the mechanical heart were items that could only be found by chance. Even a large faction like the Qi family did not possess them. Wu Yazi and the others clicked their tongues. Su Chen's asking price was really ruthless. He even wanted the machinery heart. It was obvious that he wanted to take the opportunity to extort the Qi clan. In this world, only Su Chen would dare to blackmail the Qi family. Qi Muyu gritted his teeth and asked, "The Qi family doesn't have any demon plant holy items or mechanical hearts, but I can give you level 9 energy stones. How many do you want?" "I'll take a little loss and give your Qi family some face. Just give me 100 pills," Su Chen said indifferently. The level 9 energy stones were mainly for the intelligent chariots and mechanical soldiers. Of course, he also knew that the other party would not be able to take out 100 pills. The reason why he did this was to wait for the other party to bargain. 100 pills? Qi Muyu was stunned. He almost choked to death. At first, she thought that Su Chen would ask for 8 or 10 at most. After all, level 9 energy stones were not cabbages. Who would have thought that Su Chen would ask for 100 pills? She now suspected that Su Chen was purposely making things difficult for them. He did not plan to let them go. "We don't have that many. The most we can give you is 10, Qi Muyu said angrily. "Looks like you're not going to give me face." Su Chen narrowed his eyes. His body exuded a strong murderous aura. Chapter 809. You want to kill us? Feeling Su Chen's murderous intent, Qi Muxue screamed in fear. Wu Yazi and the others were also shocked. Once they killed Qi Muxue and Wu Yazi, they would face endless pursuit when they entered the void in the future. I can give you a sage puppet in exchange. Qi Muyu struggled for a while and finally gritted his teeth and said. Su Chen's eyes suddenly lit up. The value of a sage puppet was self-evident. If the other party could really give him a sage puppet, he could let them go. I need to see the quality of the sage puppet first. Su Chen pondered for a while and said slowly. There were good and bad sage puppets too. If the other party gave him a damaged sage puppet, he would suffer a great loss. Sure. Qi Muyu opened his storage bag and took out a palm-sized steel puppet and placed it in front of Su Chen. This was a sage puppet? Was this a joke? The puppet in Qi Muyu's hand was more like a toy. The reason was that it was too small and did not match the mighty form of a sage puppet at all. Su Chen sized it up and his heart skipped a beat. This puppet was a little small, but it had many similarities to the golden puppet in the abandoned land. Could it also be from the Machine Empire? Thinking of this, Su Chen quietly contacted the intelligent war chariot and asked, Satoshi, feel this puppet. Is it from the machine race? Although the intelligent war chariot was an item dropped from the fragment, it belonged to the machine race. If it was of the same kind, it should be able to feel it. Master, it is from the machine race. I feel that it is very powerful. It is not much weaker than Otetsu, the intelligent war chariot replied with certainty. Su Chen was a little excited. Otetsu was referring to the golden puppet. The golden puppet was at least a sage puppet. Similar to the golden puppet, he should also be a first stage saint rank, right? It didn't matter what stage of the saint rank it was, as long as it was confirmed that it was from the machine race. Let me have a look at that puppet, Su Chen said calmly. Qi Muyu didn't think too much about it and happily handed the puppet over to Su Chen. Unexpectedly, Su Chen didn't even look at it before putting it into his storage pouch. He then asked, Where did you get this puppet? I found it in a ruin in the void. Qi Muyu paused for a moment before replying. You came to the Elf continent to participate in the Moonshine City auction and bid for the mechanical heart, right? Su Chen nodded and continued probing. Qi Muyu always felt that Su Chen's words had a hidden meaning, but for a while he didn't know what Su Chen was planning, so he bluntly said, There is such a plan. When Qi Muyu's words fell, a meaningful smile appeared on the corner of Su Chen's mouth, and then he said, Since you want to bid for the mechanical heart, you must have something of corresponding value on you, right? Take it out and let me have a look. Chapter 810. You. Qi Muyu was furious. She clenched her fists tightly. However, even though she was extremely angry, she did not dare to take action. Firstly, she could not defeat Su Chen. Secondly, once she took action, Qi Muxue would be the first one to die. I'll give you 3 breaths time. If you don't take it out, I'll take action. Su Chen's face was cold. He could not help but tighten his grip. Qi Muxue rolled her eyes. Stop. I'll give it to you. Murong, you could not bear to see Murong Shui being tortured. She shouted anxiously. I'm just joking with you. Why are you so agitated? Su Chen chuckled and loosened his grip. He stretched out his hand in front of Qi Muyu and said in a low voice, Give it to me. Qi Muyu gnashed his teeth in anger. There was nothing he could do. He glared at Su Chen to express his dissatisfaction. Then he took out a bottle of green liquid from his storage pouch and handed it to Su Chen. What's this? Su Chen looked at it and asked softly. This is a bottle of primary life liquid. Qi Muyu sighed and explained, The primary life liquid can not only increase one's lifespan, but also heal one's injuries. It even has the effect of reviving the dead. Upon hearing this, Su Chen's expression changed abruptly. If the primary life liquid's effect was true, its value was almost the same as the life crystal core that he had obtained from Li Liang. The others were also shocked. Especially Wu Yizi and Li Kuiyang, who did not have much lifespan left, knew the preciousness of the primary life liquid. Su Chen took a deep breath and sent the bottle of primary life liquid into the planting dimension. Then he communicated with the longevity fruit tree. Xiao Shou, do you know about the primary life liquid? The primary life liquid is the juice of the tree of life, the longevity fruit tree replied quickly. The juice of the tree of life? Su Chen's eyes lit up. Then he said, Are you sure that the bottle contains the primary life liquid? The longevity fruit tree opened the bottle, and an extremely rich aura of life immediately spread out. Master, this is the life original fluid. I can't be wrong. The life origin fruit tree was extremely excited. After getting a positive answer, Su Chen closed the plant dimension and asked Qi Muyu, "Where did you get this bottle of primary life liquid?" Since the life original fluid was the sap of the tree of life, and the tree of life had disappeared, was there any connection between the two? "The life original fluid was given to me by my ancestor," Qi Muyu said grumpily. Originally, he had come to the elf continent to bid for the machinery heart. Unexpectedly, not only did he fail to obtain the mechanical heart, the swift bird, the saint-level puppet, and the primary life fluid had all been snatched away by Su Chen. It really made her depressed to the extreme. "I've given you everything. Can you let us go now?" Qi Muxia asked coldly. Su Chen was very satisfied with a saint-level puppet and a bottle of primary life fluid. However, it was impossible for him to let them go so easily. "I can let you go, but you have to swear an oath that you won't harm me in the future," Su Chen said with a serious face. In order to avoid the revenge of the Qi family in the future, he had to make Qi Muyu and Qi Muxia swear an oath. Oaths of the heavenly way had a certain binding effect on cultivators. The higher the level, the stronger the binding effect. Qi Muxia was about to go crazy with anger. Originally, she had planned to go back to her family and gather experts to deal with Su Chen. However, once she swore an oath, all her plans would be ruined. He could only forcefully suppress this resentment. She was extremely unwilling to accept this. Chapter 8:11. Qi Muyu also didn't want to make an oath. She didn't want to retaliate against Su Chen, but she felt that Su Chen was going too far. Seeing that Qi Muyu and Qi Muyu didn't express their opinion, Su Chen curled his lips. "Since you two don't agree, I can only return the things to you and then kill you. Kill us and the things will still be yours." Qi Muyu and Qi Muyu were indignant. But in the face of Su Chen's coercion, they had no choice but to make a poison oath. "Well, the things have been given to you, and the oath has been made. This time you should let us go, right?" Qi Muxia said coldly with a straight face. Being bullied by Su Chen for so long, she was extremely aggrieved in her heart. She just wanted to leave here as soon as possible. "No hurry, there is still a small matter that needs your help," Su Chen said faintly. "There is still a matter?" Qi Muxia and Qi Muyu looked at each other. Their faces sank and their hearts were even more uneasy. "I'm not a bad person. Look at how scared you are." Su Chen chuckled and then said, "You guide me to the route. When we reach Moonshine City, I will let you leave." It turned out to be a guide. Qi Muxia and Qi Muyu breathed a sigh of relief. Later, Su Chen took out the intelligent war chariot. After everyone got on, under the guidance of Qi Muxia and Qi Muyu, they went straight to Moonshine City. On the way, Qi Muyu suddenly thought of something and said to Su Chen, "Can you return our weapons to us?" Their weapons had reached the level of sacred tools. Once they lost it, their combat effectiveness would be greatly reduced. Even at level 10, it was very dangerous to be in the elf continent. However, she also knew that the value of sacred tools was very high. Would Su Chen be willing to give them back? The value of sacred tools is self-evident. No matter where it is placed, it is a hot commodity. If it is placed in an auction, the value will probably double. Su Chen didn't answer directly, but instead, he said something meaningful. The meaning behind his words was very clear. If he didn't pay a price, he wouldn't be able to take back the two saint artifacts. Those two weapons clearly belong to us. What else do you want? Qi Muxia's chest heaved. She was so angry that her lungs were about to explode. Su Chen clearly wanted to scam them. He was simply too shameless. "Watch your words." Su Chen scolded with a cold face. "We were enemies before, and those two saint artifacts were my spoils of war. You still have the nerve to say that they're yours? Is everyone in your Qi family as shameless as you?" Qi Muxia was so angry that she couldn't say anything. It was obviously Su Chen who was in the wrong, but she couldn't refute. She couldn't help but feel like crying. Qi Muyu knew that it was impossible to reason with Su Chen. He said helplessly, "What do you want?" 20 level 10 energy stones, Su Chen said bluntly. "Why don't you just rob someone?" Qi Muxia was so angry that her nose was crooked. Even one level 10 energy stone was priceless. Su Chen wanted 20 of them. He was too black-hearted. "If you don't want to give it to me, then forget it." "I'm not begging you," Su Chen said casually. If the other party didn't agree, he could just go to the Moonshine City to auction it off. "Wait a minute, I agree," Qi Muyu suddenly said. Su Chen nodded slightly. He looked at Qi Muxia and said in an old-fashioned manner, "Look at how sensible your sister is. Then look at you. You're nothing. You've lived so long in vain." Qi Muxue swallowed her saliva and almost fainted from anger. After reprimanding Qi Muxue, Su Qin turned to Qi Muyu and said faintly, "Since you've agreed, hand over the energy stones." Chapter 8:12. I don't have it on me, but you can go to our Su family to ask for it, or I'll give it to you the next time we meet, Qi Muyu said. The reason why he agreed so readily was that he thought that Su Qin would never dare to go to the Qi family, so there was no need to pay the energy stones. Su Qin narrowed his eyes, pondered for a while and said, "It's not impossible to go to your Qi family to get it, but after all it's a long journey and it's not easy to go there. The price must be doubled. 20 level 10 energy stones. Double that would be 40. Its value had exceeded 2 sacred tools. But Qi Muyu still did not hesitate and said happily, "Okay." He believed that Su Qin would not dare to go, even if he asked for 100 stones he would agree. Su Qin sneered in his heart. He could guess Qi Muyu's thoughts. However, Qi Muyu obviously underestimated his ability to advance. It would not take long for him to advance to the sacred rank. And when he went to the Qi family he did not know how much his cultivation would improve. At that time, if the Qi family dared to renege on the debt, he did not mind overturning the entire Void Fortress. "Since you agree, then give us the weapons," Qi Muxue said impatiently. "Why are you in such a hurry? I will give it to you when we reach the Moonshine City." Su Qin snorted and did not give Qi Muxue a good face. Qi Muxue knew that she could not win against Su Qin, so she simply kept quiet. Su Qin was too lazy to pay attention to her. He sat in the driver's seat and closed his eyes to rest. The intelligent war chariot traveled through the night. At noon the next day the swift bird suddenly warned, "Master, I feel that there is a dangerous aura approaching us." Danger? Su Qin slowly opened his eyes. He had experienced the swift bird's ability to predict danger. Since the swift bird said so, there must be danger. "Satoshi, search around," Su Qin ordered. "Master, we've discovered 2 aliens rapidly approaching us," the intelligent war chariot immediately replied and transmitted the image to the central control screen. Su Qin narrowed his eyes and glanced around, only to see a Titan giant with a mountain-like body flying over. On his shoulder stood a short, ugly alien with a long, pointy nose. "Coming for me?" Su Qin was a little confused. Logically speaking, he had just entered the Elf continent and hadn't caused any trouble yet, so why was the other party coming straight for him? When Qi Muxue and the other 2 saw the appearance of the 2 foreign tribesmen, their faces changed. Su Qin sensed this and asked in a low voice, "Are these 2 people here for you?" "Yes." Qi Muyu nodded solemnly. "How did they know the 2 of you were here?" Su Qin asked curiously. The distance between the 2 of them wasn't short. In addition, Qi Muyu and the other 2 hadn't shown their faces yet, but the other party was able to accurately lock onto their position. This was a little strange. "That's because the goblin has the ability to sense auras. As long as we're within a certain range, he can lock onto us," Qi Muyu explained. The person with the long nose was a goblin. Su Qin glanced at him and asked, "What's the feud between the 2 of you?" The other party came aggressively, so it was obvious that they weren't here to catch up. They were most likely here for revenge. "That's because we snatched that swift bird from the hands of the Titan," Qi Muyu said truthfully. "The Qi family is really a bunch of bandits." After figuring out what was going on, Su Qin sighed. Chapter 8:13. Upon hearing that, Qi Muyu lowered his head in embarrassment. Qi Muxue snorted and said coldly, "I advise you to run away quickly. Otherwise, you'll suffer if that big guy catches up to you." Su Qin looked at Qi Muxue as if he was looking at an idiot. He said sarcastically, "The Titan isn't here to chase me. At most, I'll just hand you 2 over." Upon hearing that, Qi Muxue and Qi Muxue's expressions changed. The Titan that was chasing after them was a level 10 cultivator. He was abnormally strong. Even if they had a sacred weapon, they wouldn't be a match for him. Now that they didn't have a sacred weapon, they might be killed in an instant. "If the 2 of us are killed, you won't have an easy time either. After all, the swift bird is in your hands," Qi Muxue replied unhappily. "So what? Do you think he's a match for me?" Su Qin curled his lips and said disdainfully. Qi Muxue immediately reacted. Su Qin wasn't weak to begin with. In addition, he had many experts around him and a level 10 gold devouring bug. The Titan really couldn't do anything to him. "Tell us, what do we have to do for you to help us?" Qi Muyu asked softly. The fact that Su Qin could say so much meant that he wanted to take the opportunity to blackmail them. Su Qin extended 2 fingers and said calmly, 20 level 10 energy stones and I'll guarantee that you'll be fine. Damn it. Qi Muxue gritted her teeth in anger. Su Chen was obviously asking for an exorbitant price. It's fine if you don't agree. I won't force you. Su Chen shrugged and put on an indifferent look. Qi Muyu took a deep breath and said in a deep voice, "We agree." His current situation was that he had been led by the nose by Su Chen. Even though she knew it clearly, she couldn't do anything about it. In total, it's 60 level 10 energy stones. When I have time, I'll definitely go to the Qi family and ask for it, Su Chen mumbled thoughtfully. Do you dare to go? Qi Muxue sneered in her heart. However, at this moment, the intelligent war chariot reminded him, Master, the aliens are less than 100 meters away from us. Dong dong. Accompanied by the sound of the earth trembling, a mountain-like figure could be seen from afar. Before the person arrived, a wave of murderous aura rushed over first, giving people a very heavy feeling of oppression. Just as Su Chen was about to get out of the car, Shang Tsili said, Su Chen, leave this titan to us? She had never fought a level 10 titan before, so she wanted to use this opportunity to train herself. Su Chen thought for a moment and said with a smile, next time. Although the titan giant was only at level 10, it must be very powerful to be able to make Qi Muxue and Zhang Yang wary of it. Shang Kaili and the others might not be his match. In order to avoid any injuries, he decided to act personally. He's Su Chen? Qi Muxue and Shang Tsili were stunned when they heard Su Chen's name. Speaking of whose reputation was the most resounding in recent times, it was none other than Su Chen. It could be described as thunderous. It was rumored that although Su Chen was only a level 10 human cultivator, he was a level 10 full-time cultivator. Moreover, the strength of each profession was far beyond those of the same level. What was even more terrifying was that Su Chen was not even 20 years old yet. His talent was so strong that no one could compare to him. It was no exaggeration to say that Su Chen was definitely a rare super genius. However, the reason why Su Chen was so famous was not only because of his talent, but also because of his brutality. Someone calculated that since Su Chen made his debut, the number of powerhouses he had killed numbered in the thousands. This included not only humans but also many aliens, especially those from the 5 super races. Could be said that Su Chen was a heinous, murderous demon king. Killing without a word, he acted without any scruples. Chapter 8:14. Sister, could he really be that Su Chen? Qi Muxue asked anxiously. Qi Muyu muttered with a solemn expression, let's hope not. Su Chen's identity gave them an extremely strong psychological pressure, and at the same time also made them endlessly scared. Outside the car, Su Chen waited quietly for the Titan Giant's arrival. Bang! With a loud thud, the Titan Giant's feet landed on the ground, causing the ground to rumble. Human, hand over the 2 ladies from the Qi family and I'll give you a quick death. The Titan Giant glanced coldly at Su Chen and said arrogantly, what if I don't hand them over? Su Chen curled his lips and said nonchalantly. This Titan was a little pretentious. He even dared to threaten him. He decided to teach the Titan a lesson and let him know the price he had to pay for being arrogant. Human, don't be ungrateful. However, at this moment the goblin also shouted, I'll make you regret living in this world later. Su Chen snorted. The gnome was only at level 8, yet he dared to be so arrogant. He must have a death wish. Since you don't know what's good for you, go to hell. The Titan Giant opened his mouth and a ferocious expression appeared on his face. Then he threw a punch at Su Chen. Whoosh whoosh. The punch was so powerful that it stirred up the wind in the surroundings. Like a small mountain, it pressed down on Su Chen from the sky. Why isn't he dodging? Qi Muyu mumbled to himself. He saw clearly that Su Chen was standing on the same spot and did not show any signs of dodging. However, the Titan Giant's punch was so powerful that if Su Chen did not dodge, wouldn't he be waiting for death? Shang Tsili and the rest looked serious. Even though they knew that Su Chen was invincible, they felt that Su Chen was being too arrogant. Just as the Titan Giant's fist was about to hit him, Su Chen's palm glowed with a faint golden light. Then he reached out and grabbed it. What is he trying to do? Qi Muxue was dumbfounded. Su Chen was obviously going to fight the Titan Giant head-on. Is he crazy? Just as Qi Muxue had that thought, the Titan Giant's punch had already landed on Su Chen's palm. However, the unbelievable thing was, the Titan Giant's powerful punch was strangely stopped when it came into contact with Su Chen's palm. How is that possible? The Titan Giant's eyes widened as he roared in shock. The weak human in front of him was actually able to withstand his punch with his own strength. It was too unbelievable. You're done, it's my turn. Su Chen curled his lips into a strange smile. Then he leaped up. When he was right in front of the Titan Giant's head, he threw a punch. The Titan Giant wanted to dodge, but it was too late. His nose was hit hard. There was a loud boom. The Titan Giant's nose was caved in. Moreover, under the effect of the huge impact, many of the bones on his face had cracked open like a spider web. Bright red blood flowed out of them, making him look very miserable. Su Chen had beaten a level 10 Titan Giant beyond recognition with just one punch. It showed that he was invincible. Hiss. Qi Muxue and Shang Tsili gasped when they saw that. They could not help but shudder. I'm going to kill you. The Titan endured the pain and roared as he reached out to grab Su Chen. Chapter 8:15. Su Chen did not panic. As the Titan Giant's hand was about to grab him, he released his spirit. You're trying to stop me with your spirit. The Titan Giant waved his hand furiously and tore the spirit that was attached to his body apart. However, he had lost sight of Su Chen after this delay. Where did he go? The Titan Giant turned his head and searched around. Suddenly, a cold howl came from above him. Stop looking. I'm here. Oh no. When the Titan Giant realized that something was wrong, his head was hit hard. The hit was so powerful that his head buzzed and his body was on the verge of collapsing. You're quite resilient. Su Chen snorted coldly and smashed down again with the original 5 poles mountain. There was a loud crash. The Titan Giant was hit hard again. Half of his head was smashed. He shook a few times and fell to the ground. It was as if a mountain had collapsed and the ground was shaking. Su Chen flew down from the sky. The integrated 5 extremes mountain in his hand was like a giant hammer that kept hitting the Titan Giant's head. Bang bang bang, along with the loud crash, the Titan Giant's huge body spasmed. In the end, he straightened his body and lost all signs of life. His head had been smashed into a pile of minced meat. What a brutal method. What a powerful ability. Seeing this scene, Qi Muyu swallowed his saliva fiercely. A level 10 Titan Giant was killed without being able to put up any resistance. This kind of brutal scene brought a great impact to them. He's that Su Chen. There's no doubt about it. Qi Mushue's teeth were chattering. Rumor had it that Su Chen was an extremely powerful and ruthless guy. His performance was exactly the same as the young man in front of her. He was definitely Su Chen. After confirming Su Chen's true identity, Qi Muxue was instantly on tenterhooks. Cold sweat seeped out of her forehead. On the other side, after Su Chen collected the fragments that had been dropped, his gaze fell on the gnome, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. Senior, please spare my life. The gnome fell to his knees, trembling. After witnessing Su Chen's invincible might and cruel methods, he was scared out of his wits, and even the thought of running away was extinguished. Su Chen ignored it and released his mental power to crush it into dust. After collecting the fragments, he returned to the intelligent war chariot. Satoshi, let's continue our journey. Su Chen ordered, then turned to Qi Muyu and said, I have solved the problem for you. Remember your promise. Don't worry. We will definitely give you the 60 level 10 energy stones. We will definitely not delay the payment, Qi Muxue said. Su Chen felt a little strange. When did Qi Muxue become so sensible? However, he didn't think much about it. He sat back in the driver's seat and continued to rest. Qi Muxue breathed a long sigh of relief, as if relieved of a heavy burden. Behind them, the intelligent war chariot galloped all the way and spent 2 days to finally reach Moonshine City. Su Chen returned the 2 sacred tools according to the previous agreement and let Qi Muxue and Qi Muyu go. Afterward, he put the intelligent war chariot into his storage bag and entered Moonshine City with Wu Yazi and others. Because of the upcoming auction, Moonshine City could be said to be bustling at this time. Not only had a large number of elves gathered, but there was also a large number of foreign races. Moreover, the cultivation of these foreign races was not weak. Most of them were cultivators above level 9. Chapter 8:16. The elves dare to let so many powerhouses into Moonshine City. Aren't they afraid of trouble? Su Chen narrowed his eyes and glanced around, muttering. The overall strength of the elves was not even as good as that of the human race, yet they dared to let so many powerhouses enter. This was something that the mysterious heavenly continent did not dare to do. Next to him, Wu Yazi smiled and said, Su Chen, in fact you don't know. In Moonshine City, even a level 10 cultivator dares not run amok. What? Su Chen was puzzled. Could it be that there was a super powerhouse of the elves in Moonshine City? Was it enough to deter all the foreign races? Wu Yazi explained, because Moonshine City is actually a high-grade sacred tool. The power it can exert is comparable to a divine tool. If anyone dares to run amok here, they will be killed. In fact, he said this to remind Su Chen in disguise. After all, with Su Chen's style of doing things, he might cause a big trouble here. Comparable to a divine tool. Su Chen could not help but click his tongue. At this moment, he understood why the elves were so confident and dared to let so many powerhouses enter. It turned out that they had this trump card in hand. Senior, if that's the case, aren't we just turtles in a dream? Su Chen took a breath and said with some worry. Being in a sacred tool, if the elves conspired against him, there was a risk of being strangled at any time. He had to be vigilant. Once such a large sacred tool is activated, the resources consumed must be massive. Unless it is a last resort, the elves will never use it easily, Wu Yazi said. Su Chen nodded slightly, agreeing with Wu Yazi's view. The existence of Moonshine City should be more of a deterrent. If they really dared to kill powerhouses indiscriminately, they would have been destroyed by the joint forces of many forces long ago. For the rest of the time, Su Chen and the others wandered around while inquiring about the time and location of the auction. Finally, they got the news that the auction would be held in 3 days. There were still 3 days to spare. Su Chen simply called the others out of the chaos space. Let them experience the splendor of an outsider city. At noon the next day, Su Chen and the others were strolling around the Moonshine City when they suddenly found a man and 2 women quickly approaching them. Su Chen didn't care at first, but Wu Yazi reminded him, Su Chen, it's the 2 girls from the Qi family. Chimushue and Chimuyu? Su Chen frowned and swept his gaze over. Sure enough, it was these 2 people. Furthermore, they were accompanied by a handsome young man. This person's footsteps were vigorous, and there was a fierce aura between his brows. Although he tried his best to suppress his aura, Su Chen could tell at a glance that this person was definitely a top expert. Could it be that he was here for revenge? He thought about how this person was suitable for Qi Muyu and Li Wuyo, and that this person was targeting him. Su Chen had some doubts. However, Qi Muyu and Li Wuyo had already sworn an oath. Weren't they afraid of being punished by the heavenly Tao? For a moment, Su Chen couldn't figure out the purpose of the other party, but he didn't think much about it and quietly waited for them to come over. Are you Su Chen? When Qi Muyu and the others came close, the man looked at Su Chen and asked in a loud voice. I am. What do you want? Su Chen faintly replied. My name is Qi Mufeng. I'm their second brother. The handsome man first introduced himself and then said in a deep voice, I heard that you took away the primary life liquid and the sage-level puppet? Su Chen's expression was cold and he said disdainfully, So what? What can I do if I don't? Chapter 8:17. You're really arrogant. Qi Mufeng snorted and said slowly, Rumor has it that you've killed a saint-level gold-devouring bug? You should be strong enough. I Qi Mufeng challenge you. Challenge me? Su Chen was stunned for a moment. Then he looked at Qi Mufeng again and smiled contemptuously. Are you worthy? These words fell on Qi Mufeng's ears like needles. Gulp. Qi Mufeng swallowed hard, his face turning red and white. Su Chen, even if you don't want to fight with my second brother, you don't have to humiliate him at all, right? Qi Muyu said angrily. Qi Mufeng didn't have any bad intentions when he challenged Su Chen. It was just an exchange of pointers between powerhouses. But Su Chen didn't give him any face and even took the opportunity to humiliate him. It was really hateful. I asked you to come? You're the one who made a mistake. How can you blame me? Su Chen snorted with a sullen face. Qi Muyu even put on a posture of denouncing him. Did he think he had a big face? Su Chen wouldn't tolerate him. Qi Muyu was so angry that the corners of his mouth twitched and he almost fainted. Qi Mufeng took a deep breath and suppressed the anger in his heart. Su Chen, if you don't dare to accept my challenge, just say it. There's no need to mock me. Provoke me? Su Chen sneered in his heart. This kind of childish provocation was useless to him. But what he couldn't figure out was that Qi Muyu should be very clear about his strength. Then why did Qi Mufeng still dare to challenge him? What's your cultivation? Su Chen thought for a moment and asked. Level 1 Saint level. Qi Mufeng said proudly. Sure enough. Su Chen muttered to himself. Since Qi Mufeng dared to challenge him even after knowing that he could kill the Sage-class gold-devouring beetles, he suspected that Qi Mufeng was a Sage-class expert. Moreover, judging from Qi Mufeng's confident look, it was very likely that he was a powerhouse who far surpassed his peers. When Wu Yazi and the others learned that Qi Mufeng had screamed at a saint, their expressions changed. Indeed, there's always someone better than you out there. Shang Tsili clicked her tongue and sighed. Qi Mufeng looked like he was in his 20s. For him to become a saint at such a young age, his cultivation talent was comparable to Su Chen's. Are you afraid now that you know that I'm a saint? Seeing that Su Chen did not speak for a long time, Qi Mufeng provoked. Su Chen pursed his lips and said indifferently, I'm indeed afraid. I'm afraid that I'll accidentally kill you. Since Qi Mufeng wanted to humiliate himself, he might as well fulfill his wish. Qi Mufeng was not angry but happy. He stared at Su Chen and said, So you accept my challenge? I can accept, but I'll have to add some stakes, Su Chen said with a smile. There was no practical meaning in teaching Qi Mufeng a lesson. He might as well take the opportunity to get some benefits. What do you want to bet? Qi Mufeng said indifferently. To him, as long as he could fight with Su Chen, even if he had to pay a little reward, it did not matter. Ordinary things don't catch my eye. Su Chen muttered thoughtfully, then said, 40 level 10 energy stones will do. Qi Muyu owed her 60 level 10 energy stones. If she won another 40, it would be just enough to make it a round number. There's no need to bet so big, right? Qi Mufeng clicked his tongue. 40 level 10 energy stones was an astronomical figure to him. If he lost, where would he get more? You don't even have the guts to do that, and you still dare to challenge me? Su Chen mocked. Qi Mufeng gritted his teeth. Just as he was about to reply, Qi Muyu interrupted, Second brother, let's not compete with him. Chapter 8:18. Qi Muyu had suffered a great loss at the hands of Su Chen. Su Chen had extorted a saint-level puppet, a bottle of primary life fluid and 60 level 10 energy stones. Since Su Chen dared to make such a request, he must be confident in winning. Qi Mufeng might be a saint level, but his cultivation would be suppressed on the continent. He might not be Su Chen's match. Qi Muyu did not want to see Qi Mufeng suffer a loss, so he tried his best to stop him. Hearing this, Qi Mufeng hesitated. It was rare to meet someone as strong as Su Chen. To be honest, he did not want to miss this opportunity to spar. However, 40 level 10 energy stones were also a problem for him. After thinking for a while, he said, I don't have any level 10 energy stones, but I can use a piece of information as a replacement. Information? What information could replace 40 level 10 energy stones? Tell me about it, Su Chen said calmly. There was no harm in listening. If it was not valuable, he could reject it. He would not lose anything. Qi Mufeng did not beat around the bush. He said directly, I know the whereabouts of a saint-level puppet. It's similar to the one you have. A saint-level puppet? It should be from the machine race. If it was a complete machine race puppet, it would be worth 40 level 10 energy stones. The key was only a piece of information. He did not know if the puppet was complete. Thus, its value would be greatly reduced. Su Chen thought for a while and shook his head. Your information is too worthless. It's not worth my time. I have another piece of information. Qi Mufeng gritted his teeth and seemed to be struggling. Su Chen signaled Qi Mufeng to continue. In a secret realm of the elves, there is a spring of life. I can tell you the exact location, Qi Mufeng said softly. Spring of life? Su Chen frowned and muttered. This was the first time he had heard of the spring of life, so he didn't know what it was. However, he could also imagine that something linked to life wouldn't be too bad. On the side, Wu Yazi's expression changed. He whispered to Su Chen, Su Chen agree. Su Chen was slightly surprised and asked, Senior, you know about the spring of life? Wu Yazi explained, the effect of the spring of life is the same as the primary life liquid. Moreover, it has the additional effect of accelerating the growth of spiritual plants. Su Chen took a deep breath and almost shouted out in excitement. Accelerating the growth of spirit plants was too important to him. There were many demon plants and holy items in the plant dimension, but they were too old. Even with the time accelerator, he couldn't harvest them in a short period of time. It could be said that he urgently needed something that could accelerate the growth of spirit plants. Su Chen coughed softly and said without batting an eyelid, These two pieces of information added together are somewhat valuable. Let's make it worth 20 level 10 energy stones. What a big appetite. Wu Yazi clicked his tongue. He knew that Su Chen had Qi Mufeng in his grasp and was determined to make Qi Mufeng sell everything he had. I don't have 20 level 10 energy stones. Qi Mufeng laughed bitterly. It's okay. I'll owe you for now. Anyway, your sister still owes me 60 energy stones. I'll collect them when I have time, Su Chen said casually. Qi Mufeng stared blankly at Su Chen, speechless for a moment. From Su Chen's tone, it was as if he had him in his grasp. However, he was still a saint-level expert. How could he be looked down on so much? Do you agree or not? Su Chen was a bit impatient. He could sense that Qi Mufeng was a martial arts fanatic and wouldn't miss the opportunity to spar with him. Chapter 8:19. I agree. Qi Mufeng gritted his teeth and said. Su Chen was overjoyed and could not wait to say, then let's go out of the city and exchange pointers. Private fights were not allowed in Moonshine City, especially between high-level cultivators. He did not want to break the rules here. Wait a minute, I have 2 requests. Qi Mufeng interrupted. 2 more requests? Su Chen was slightly displeased, but he still said patiently, tell me. Qi Mufeng cleared his throat and said solemnly, first, if I win, you don't have to give me energy stones. Just give me back the saint-level puppet and the life original fluid. Second, if you can beat me, I will tell you the location of the 2 secret realms, but I have to go with you. Okay. Su Chen did not hesitate at all. It was absolutely impossible for Qi Mufeng to defeat him, so these things would still belong to him. As for going to the secret realms together, it would also be beneficial for him. At least, it could prove that these 2 secret realms really existed. Seeing Su Chen's reply so quickly, Qi Muyu could not help but begin to worry. A person's reputation was like a tree's shadow. It was rumored that all the saint-level experts of the human race had joined forces to suppress Su Chen, but they could not do anything to Su Chen. Could be seen how terrible Su Chen was in the end. She could even imagine that Su Chen was simply an invincible existence in the human race. If she wanted to deal with Su Chen, perhaps she could only do it in the void. And Qi Mufeng insisted on exchanging pointers with Su Chen. It was very likely that he had fallen into Su Chen's scheme. But things had come to this point and she was powerless to stop it. She could only sigh faintly. Later, Su Chen's group quickly left Moonshine City. It took them an hour to find a secluded place to stop. Because it was a duel between level 10 experts, the damage caused was unimaginable. The cultivation of Tanlin and the others was too weak. Su Chen was worried that they would be affected, so he put them into the chaos space. Su Chen, swords have no eyes. Please forgive me if I hurt you. Before making a move, Qi Mufeng reminded him. Su Chen could feel that these words were not arrogant but really meant well. However, even if he knew this, he was still unwilling to listen. Because in the continent, no one could defeat him. Qi Mufeng obviously hadn't realized this, so he decided to teach Qi Mufeng a lesson. Once I make a move, it's easy for me to lose control. If you feel that you can't handle it, you must admit defeat immediately. Don't try to be brave or else you might lose your life, Su Chen said seriously. How arrogant. Qi Mufeng clicked his tongue and stopped arguing with Su Chen. While the atmosphere on the field was tense, Wu Yazi and the others gathered together and began to block the way. I bet that Su Chen can defeat Qi Mufeng in less than 2 minutes. Yuqi Jingyang said confidently. Qi Mufeng is a sage after all. I bet that he can last for 3 minutes, Shang Tsili said with some reservations. I think 2 minutes, Li Kueyang agreed. 2 minutes and 20 seconds, Nan Lichuan said firmly. After the 4 of them finished speaking, they all looked at Wu Yazi. You guys are underestimating Su Chen. I bet that Su Chen can defeat Qi Mufeng in less than a minute, Wu Yazi said confidently. Since they didn't try to cover up their conversation, Qi Mufeng and the other 2 could clearly hear what they were saying. These guys are too despicable. Qi Muxia was furious and cursed in her heart. Defeating a saint-level powerhouse in less than a minute? The thoughts of Wu Yazi and the others were simply deranged. Chapter 8:20. Qi Mufeng's face was gloomy, and his expression was ugly to the extreme. Being looked down upon in front of him made him feel extremely humiliated. These guys are too much. Su Chen sighed and turned to Qi Mufeng saying, they're just telling the truth, don't mind them. Qi Mufeng's expression froze. Telling the truth? Don't mind? How could he have the nerve to say that? Qi Mufeng felt like he had been dealt a critical blow, and could not recover for a long time. All right, let's hurry up. Su Chen reminded. Qi Mufeng took a deep breath and forced himself to be alert. Then let's begin. If he continued to talk to Su Chen, he would be angered to death. As soon as he finished speaking, he charged fiercely at Su Chen, vowing to defeat Su Chen in the shortest time possible to prove himself. Qi Mufeng was a sage and his reputation was not undeserved. He rushed in front of Su Chen, raised his hand and smashed down with a punch. However, there was a dazzling starlight on his fist, and it carried with it the power to cut through space. Still interesting. Su Chen commented and then released his mind power. Sizzle, in a violent friction sound, the mind power was torn apart by the dazzling starlight, and it only served to block it for a very short period of time. For Su Chen, this short buffer was enough. Just as Qi Mufeng's punch was about to hit him, a faint golden light appeared on his palm, and then he grabbed forward. There was a muffled bang. Qi Mufeng's fist was firmly caught and he could not move. Your defense. Before Qi Mufeng could say anything, he suddenly felt an extremely cold chill coming towards him. Even the dazzling starlight on his fist dimmed under the attack of the chill. Oh no. Qi Mufeng was shocked. Su Chen's ice spells were too violent. Once he was frozen, he would definitely lose. Let's fight. Qi Mufeng clenched his teeth, and the starlight on his fist suddenly exploded. After shattering the ice spell that was sweeping towards him, he withdrew his fist and hurriedly retreated. Even second brother is no match for him? Qi Mushua's face turned dark when she saw that Qi Mufeng was at a disadvantage the moment they exchanged blows. Qi Muyu secretly shook his head. He already knew that Qi Mufeng was no match for Su Chen, but he never thought that the gap between them would be so big. The starlight cutting technique that Qi Mufeng used was a special ability that he had awakened in the Void Battleground. It could be considered one of his trump cards. But in front of Su Chen, it couldn't even cause a ripple. Moreover, looking at Su Chen's calm expression, he did not use any strength at all. You're stronger than I thought. Qi Mufeng kept a distance from Su Chen and said solemnly. If he had not reacted fast enough, he might have been defeated. At this moment he still had some lingering fear. Compared to that sage-level gold-devouring bug, you're still lacking. You've disappointed me. Su Chen glanced at Qi Mufeng and shook his head with a sigh. At first, he thought that since Qi Mufeng dared to take the initiative to challenge him, his strength should be at least on par with the sage-level gold-devouring bug. But he did not expect that Qi Mufeng would be so weak. At most, he was only a little stronger than Feng Hexiang. If that's all you've got, you'll be humiliating yourself if you continue to fight. It's best if you surrender. Su Chen said in a deep voice. Hearing that, Qi Mufeng's face turned pale. He shouted angrily, Su Chen, I still have my strongest killer move. If you can block it, I don't mind surrendering. Go ahead. Su Chen curled his lips and said calmly. Chapter 821. Su Chen, I have to remind you that this move of mine is extremely powerful. Once I use it, there's no way I can stop it. You have to be mentally prepared. Qi Mufeng said seriously. Got it? Su Chen nodded, still looking nonchalant. Seeing that, Qi Mufeng stopped nagging and a blue longsword appeared in his hand. He raised his hand and the blue longsword flew into the air. It trembled slightly and became 10 feet long. Suddenly, an extremely sharp sword essence spread out. At the same time, there seemed to be a resonance in the void. There was a thunderous roar and tens of thousands of lightning bolts appeared in the void. The lightning flashed and the deafening roar was endless. It looks pretty awesome. Just as Su Chen was marveling at it, he saw tens of thousands of lightning bolts surging into the giant blue sword. In the next moment, the giant blue sword changed and strangely turned into a giant dragon with flashing lightning bolts. Accompanied by a dragon's roar, the entire void trembled. Swimming Dragon Sword Art, 10,000 Lightning Sword Transformation Technique. Just as the blue dragon appeared, Qi Mufeng chanted and leaped into the air. Soon he became one with the blue dragon. In an instant, a violent pressure swept out in all directions. Wherever it passed, even the vegetation on the ground seemed to tremble. What a terrifying divine power. Wu Yazi and the rest were shocked. When the pressure came, they felt a chill run down their spines. Second brother has mastered the 10,000 Lightning Sword Transformation Technique. Qi Mushue and Qi Muyu were extremely excited. The Swimming Dragon Sword Art was one of the most powerful techniques in the Qi family, and the 10,000 Lightning Sword Transformation Technique was the hardest divine power to master. There were many geniuses in the Qi family, but only their Laozu could master this divine power. They didn't expect Qi Mufeng to master it too. Second brother will win for sure. Qi Mushue shouted excitedly. The power of the 10,000 Thunder Transformation Sword technique was unparalleled. Once it was used, it was enough to deal a fatal blow to a cultivator of a higher level. In her opinion, there was no way Su Chen could resist it. Sword intent manifestation. Body and sword as one. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and muttered to himself. Qi Mufeng's move was a little similar to man and sword as one, but it was much more exquisite than that. It had been a long time since Su Chen had encountered such a powerful killing move. His fighting spirit immediately soared. Su Chen, it's not too late to surrender. Qi Mufeng's authoritative voice suddenly sounded from the blue dragon. Bring it on. Su Chen was not afraid. Qi Mufeng had killer moves, but so did he. He wanted to see whether Qi Mufeng's Thousand Thunder transformation swordsmanship or his Thousand Light Ten Shadows fighting skill was more powerful. You're overestimating yourself. Seeing that Su Chen still dared to boast shamelessly, Qi Muxue snorted coldly. Take this. Qi Mufeng roared and suddenly launched an attack. He saw the blue dragon meandering in the air, pressing down on Su Chen with the force of thousands of caddies. Su Chen also used the Thousand Light Ten Shadows fighting skill at this time. 1 turned into 2, 2 turned into 4. In the blink of an eye, shadows that looked exactly like him appeared in the surroundings. What kind of supernatural power is this? Qi Muyu and Qi Muxue were stunned. Shang Caili and the others were also inexplicably shocked. Among the people present, only Wu Yazi and Li Kuiyang had seen Su Chen use the Thousand Light Ten Shadows fighting skill, so they were a little calmer. Qi Mufeng, you're bound to lose. Wu Yazi sighed with emotion. He had personally experienced the power of the 10,000 Lights 10 Shadows fighting technique. At that time, when Su Chen was at level 9, he used this move to deal with him. As a pseudo-saint, it was difficult for him to resist. Su Chen was now at level 10, and the power of this move was even more violent. How could Qi Mufeng resist it? Chapter 822. The blue dragon rushed down and was immediately surrounded by the 11 Su Chens. 5 Su Chens joined forces to release their spiritual power and suppress the blue dragon. All kinds of magic arts fell from the sky. One of the shadows held the primordial 5 Poles mountain and smashed it heavily on the blue dragon's body. There was a loud bang. The blue dragon's huge body was smashed to the ground, creating a deep pit. Su Chen's real body held the chaos sky-splitting sword. He hesitated for a moment and didn't slash down in the end. Qi Mufeng's innumerable thunder sword art might be stronger than the saint-level gold devouring beetles in terms of attack power, but its defensive power was far inferior. Once the chaos sky-splitting sword slashed down, even the saint-level gold devouring beetles couldn't resist it, let alone Qi Mufeng. He had a good impression of Qi Mufeng and didn't hold a deep grudge against him. Naturally, he wouldn't kill him. Qi Mufeng was crushed under his feet. The outcome of the battle was clear. Su Chen put away the primordial 5 Poles mountain and the chaos sky-splitting sword, and the 10 shadows also disappeared. Seeing that Su Chen didn't continue to attack, Qi Muyu and Nan Linchuan heaved a long sigh of relief. But their eyes were full of awe when they looked at Su Chen. It was not until this moment that they really saw Su Chen's strength. They even realized that even in the void, ordinary first-stage saint-level masters were no match for Su Chen. It turns out that Su Chen is so powerful. Nan Linchuan couldn't help but exclaim. When he fought with Su Chen before, he was crushed by Su Chen. He thought that Su Chen was relying on the advantage of being a full-time cultivator, so he was somewhat unconvinced. After seeing Su Chen's strength, he realized that Su Chen didn't use his full strength at all. They were just fooling around. Brother Qi, are you okay? Su Chen took a breath and shouted at the deep pit. I'm fine. After being ravaged by Su Chen, Qi Mufeng had already returned to his original form and slowly climbed out of the deep pit. At this moment, Qi Mufeng was dressed in rags and was in a sorry state. However, his aura was still stable, which meant that he hadn't suffered much damage. Su Chen, you win. Qi Mufeng's expression was desolate. He sighed and said, I'll accept my loss. I'll tell you where the 2 secret realms are. As for the 20 grade 10 energy stones, I'll think of a way to give them to you as soon as possible. Su Chen nodded slightly. Although he looked calm on the surface, his heart was bursting with joy. In this battle, not only had he obtained information about 2 secret realms, but he had also obtained another 20 level 10 energy stones. It could be said that he had profited greatly. Su Chen, before I tell you the location of the 2 secret realms, I have a presumptuous request. Qi Mufeng coughed lightly and said embarrassedly. Brother Qi, feel free to speak your mind. Su Chen wasn't bothered by it. Brother Su's strength is something I've never seen before. Brother Su and I got to know each other after a fight. I'd like to become sworn brothers with Brother Su. Qi Mufeng said seriously with a solemn expression. Is second brother crazy? Qi Mushua's mouth was wide open. She was stunned. She didn't like Su Chen at all. If Su Chen really agreed, how would they get along in the future? Qi Muyu also had a face full of surprise, but after recovering he was ecstatic in his heart. Su Chen's talent and strength were visible to the naked eye. It was almost certain that he would advance to the sacred stage. Once Su Chen advanced to the sacred stage, his strength would definitely increase by leaps and bounds. He would even have a place in the void. Being on good terms with such a talented person was definitely beneficial to the Qi family. From the bottom of his heart, he was very supportive of Qi Mufeng and Su Chen becoming sworn brothers. He also hoped that Su Chen would agree. Chapter 823. Become brothers with different surnames? Su Chen was caught off guard by Qi Mufeng's sudden words. Strictly speaking, he had a good impression of Qi Mufeng. Although Qi Mufeng came from a big family and was a sage powerhouse, he did not have the slightest bit of hostility in him. That was rather commendable, and it suited Su Chen's temperament. Logically speaking, becoming brothers with Qi Mufeng was not a bad choice. However, Su Chen had his own considerations. Qi Muyu still owed him 60 level 10 energy stones, which was not a small sum. Once he became brothers with Qi Mufeng, would he still have the face to ask for them? Su Chen hesitated as he thought of that. Qi Mufeng thought that Su Chen was unwilling, so he quickly said, Su Chen, I Qi Mufeng have always been open and above board. The reason why I made this request is not because I have any ulterior motives toward you. I'm completely convinced by your abilities. Qi Muxia seemed to have noticed something, so she added, Su Chen, becoming brothers with my second brother is beneficial to both of us. With your talent, you'll definitely become a super powerhouse in the future. You'll be of great help to my second brother. You should know a thing or two about the dangers in the void. It's definitely not feasible to fight alone. However, if you become brothers with my second brother, the Qi family can legitimately help you with all our might. Also, as long as you agree, the Qi family's cultivation resources, ruins, and secret realms can all be shared with you. In order to rope Su Chen in, Qi Muyu had put in a lot of effort. Sister, how could you do that? Qi Muxia was completely dumbfounded. Not only did Qi Muyu not dissuade her, but he also tried his best to rope Su Chen in, which was beyond her expectations. At the same time, it made her very angry. She even suspected that Qi Muyu had taken a fancy to Su Chen. Since your Qi family is so sincere, I will agree, Su Chen said straightforwardly. Just as Qi Muyu had said, it was indeed better to have the help of a powerful force than to fight alone. Moreover, he could also take the opportunity to obtain some information about the mystic realm. This was also something that he valued. Great! Qi Mufeng was indescribably excited. Wu Yazi and the others were overjoyed. Su Chen and the Qi family were on good terms, which was what they wanted to see. With the support of the Qi family, any saint-level powerhouse who wanted to find trouble with Su Chen in the future would have to think twice. Su Chen, since you've become brothers with my second brother, shouldn't you return the things that you stole from us? Qi Muxia shamelessly walked up and said naturally. The things she was talking about were the saint-level puppet and the life primary fluid. I'm friends with your second brother. What does that have to do with you? Don't be shameless. Get lost. Just looking at you disgusts me. Su Chen did not indulge her at all and scolded her with a cold face. He had great use for these two things. Of course he would not give them to her. Moreover, who was Qi Muxia? How dare she ask for them? If it was not for Qi Mufeng, Su Chen would have slapped her. Qi Muxia opened her mouth wide and the smile on her face froze. Qi Muyu more or less understood Su Chen's temper. He said with a smile, Su Chen, my sister is joking with you. Don't take it seriously. Qi Mufeng also smiled awkwardly. Muxia doesn't know any better. Don't lower yourself to her level. After venting his anger, Su Chen felt much better. He said to Qi Muxia, for the sake of your second brother and sister, I won't bicker with you. Next time, be careful and don't ask for things from others. Hearing that, Qi Muxia was stunned and almost choked to death. Chapter 824. After that, there was a relatively simple ceremony. Although it was just a ceremony, it was also bound by the will of the heavens. If one party had evil thoughts, they would definitely be punished by the heavens. After the ceremony, Su Chen and Qi Mufeng became sworn brothers, and the relationship between them was undoubtedly much closer. Today is also a joyous day. Let's celebrate here today. Su Chen said as he opened the chaos space, again. After calling out all the others, he introduced them and then arranged for Yang Hao and the others to prepare the food. 2 hours later, there was a lot of delicious food in front of everyone, mostly roasted meat and fruits. Although Qi Mufeng and the others were disciples of big families, it was the first time they had seen such a sumptuous meal. Su Chen, your fruits are too fresh, aren't they? It's as if they were just picked. Qi Mufeng chewed an apple and clicked his tongue in wonder. Brother Chi, if you like, I'll give you a few trees so that you can eat fresh fruits in the future. Su Chen said with a smile. Since he had become sworn brothers with Qi Mufeng, it was only right to give him a few fruit trees. Anyway, there were many fruit tree seeds in the storage bag. Then I won't be polite. Qi Mufeng did not refuse. He just regarded Su Chen's fruit trees as ordinary fruit trees and did not know how magical they were. Later, everyone talked as they ate and gradually became familiar with each other. After eating and drinking to their heart's content, Su Chen and Qi Mufeng started to talk business. Brother Qi, how did you know about the spirit spring of life in the elf continent? Su Chen asked. The value of the spirit spring of life was self-evident. Once it was known by outsiders, it would definitely cause a mad scramble. How could Qi Mufeng find it? He now somewhat doubted the authenticity of this news. I bought this news from the Hidden Spirit sect at a high price. Qi Mufeng said directly. Hidden Spirit sect? Su Chen frowned. Where did the Hidden Spirit sect find out? Since they knew this secret, why didn't they look for it themselves? As if seeing Su Chen's doubts, Qi Mufeng explained, the Hidden Spirit sect is located in the void, and their strength is not below our Qi family. They are actually an organization that sells secrets, and the information they sell is all true and reliable, so their credibility is guaranteed. There was such an organization? Su Chen couldn't help but click his tongue. He didn't doubt Qi Mufeng's words because if the Hidden Spirit sect was really cheating, their reputation would have been tarnished and no one would trade with them. Moreover, there were many great forces in the void. If they had cheated, they would have been annihilated long ago. What Su Chen found strange was, where did the Hidden Spirit sect's news come from? Why don't you look for it yourself? With regards to this, Qi Mufeng wasn't sure. He only said that the Hidden Spirit sect's style of doing things had always been like this. Su Chen didn't think too much about it. He just needed to confirm the authenticity of the spiritual spring of life. Brother Qi, when the auction in Moonshine City is over, let's go look for it together. Su Chen made a decision. Qi Mufeng reminded him, Su Chen, if we want to enter that secret realm, we still need to make some preparations. Su Chen nodded and listened attentively to Qi Mufeng. According to the news I got, there is likely to be an evil spirit hidden in the secret realm, so we must buy some evil defense treasures. Qi Mufeng said. Evil spirit? Su Chen raised his eyebrows slightly. He had seen evil spirit things several times. The evil fruit tree and the abyss black poria belonged to the category of evil spirits. Because of his ancient god-demon body, evil spirits could not cause any harm to him. Chapter 825. But Qi Mufeng couldn't. Even if he was a saint level, he might not be able to resist the invasion of the evil aura. He really needed a defensive treasure. However, there were very few treasures that could defend against the evil aura. Where could he get one? Is there such a treasure in Moonshine City? Su Chen probed. Qi Mufeng nodded and said, there is a clear sky mirror in this Moonshine City auction. It is a treasure that specializes in restraining evil spirits. Okay, let's bid for it, Su Chen said. With the clear sky mirror in hand, Qi Mufeng had a defensive means. He had greater confidence in the trip to the secret realm. Later, the two talked about other things. 3 days later, on the day of the Moonshine City auction, Su Chen and the others re-entered Moonshine City. Because there were many people participating in the auction, and most of them were powerful foreign races, Su was worried that there would be trouble, so he put Qin Feng and the others into the chaos space. Only Wu Yazi and the other powerhouses above level 10 were left outside. After buying a box ticket, Su Chen and the others smoothly entered the auction. The venue of the Moonshine City auction was the size of a football field, and the number of people participating was in the tens of thousands. Su Chen had participated in many auctions, but it was the first time he had encountered one of this scale. Brother Qi, besides the machinery heart, are there any other treasures in this auction? Su Chen asked. To be able to attract so many powerhouses, a machinery heart was obviously not that attractive. He wondered if there were other treasures. Besides the machinery heart, there is also a saint-level puppet and a flying sacred tool, Qi Mufeng said directly. Su Chen's expression changed and he asked anxiously, what kind of saint-level puppet? He didn't care about ordinary saint-level puppets, but if it was from the machinery race he had to get his hands on it. It seems to be similar to the one in your hand, Qi Mufeng said with uncertainty. Then there is a very high possibility. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and muttered. As long as it was confirmed that it belonged to the mechanical race, no matter how many energy stones he had to spend, it would be worth it. Moreover, he also believed that with his wealth, no one could compete with him. The auction is about to begin. Right at this moment, Wu Yazi reminded. Su Qin gathered his thoughts and looked at the stage in the center of the venue. At this moment, a beautiful female elf slowly walked onto the stage. At first, Su Qin did not pay much attention to it. This was because the host of the auction was usually a beautiful woman, so it wasn't strange at all. However, after seeing the face of the female elf, Su Qin's eyelids twitched and he exclaimed, Yueling. That day on Chongsu Island he had made a deal with Moon Spirit, so he still had some impression of Moon Spirit. Therefore he recognized her at a glance. But wasn't Moon Spirit the princess of the elves? How did he become the host of an auction? Su Qin, you know her? Qi Mufeng exclaimed softly. Su Qin nodded slightly. She is the princess of the elves. What? Qi Mufeng and the others were shocked. The princess of the elves was actually the host of an auction? Wasn't this too unbelievable? Su Qin also felt that it was a little strange, and he also keenly sensed that Moon Spirit's expression was very unnatural. Although there was a smile on Moon Spirit's face, it looked very forced. Could it be that something had happened? Su Qin secretly guessed and planned to wait until the auction ended before going to ask. Chapter 826. The Moonshine City auction has officially begun. The first item is called the Wings of Flight, which is a flying sacred tool. It was also at this time that Moon Spirit announced the start of the auction, and the first item to be auctioned was a sacred tool, which immediately aroused the mood of the entire auction. The value of a sacred tool is self-evident, and a flying sacred tool is a life-saving thing. I believe everyone here is clear about this. Therefore, the starting price of the Wings of Flight is 10,000 energy stones, and each bid increment should not be less than 1,000 energy stones. Moon Spirit made a brief introduction and announced the start of the auction. Suddenly the entire auction house boiled over. A flying sacred tool was indeed quite attractive, and the price rose all the way and soon broke through the 50,000 mark. Su Qin was not interested in this. The intelligent war chariot had the ability to fly, and strictly speaking, it was equivalent to a flying sacred tool. Moreover, he himself had the meteoric rise, so walking in the air was like walking on flat ground, and he did not need a flying object at all. As a result, he had never made a bid. However, there were many people who needed a flying sacred tool, and the competition was very fierce. When the price broke through 100,000, there was still no sign of it slowing down. In the end, it was won by the first box at a sky-high price of 180,000. This price was so high that even Su Qin, as a local tyrant, was a little speechless. After the auction of the Wings of Flight, Moon Spirit immediately announced the second item. However, to everyone's surprise, the second item was not one but two. And they were the mechanical heart and the saint-level puppet that were very eye-catching in this auction. What kind of operation was this? Everyone was puzzled. The mechanical heart and the saint-level puppet, even if one of them was auctioned separately, it was enough to cause a sensation. Why were the two items being auctioned together? And such a good thing, shouldn't it be left for the finale? The auction had just begun, and the three most valuable items were auctioned off. What kind of trick was this? Su Qin vaguely felt that something was wrong, but he could not detect it. Moon Spirit did not let everyone wait for long and said slowly, as we all know, the saint-level puppet needs to be installed with a mechanical heart to be used. For the convenience of everyone, we will simply auction it together. When Moon Spirit's words fell, the auction venue suddenly burst into discussion. Su Qin frowned and muttered to himself. Moon Spirit was right, but he didn't agree with her. This was because the purpose of an auction was to pursue profit. Auctioning two items together would definitely not yield more than auctioning them separately. How could an auction do such a good thing? For what reason? The more Su Qin thought about it, the more he felt that this matter was not simple. Unlike the previous auctions, the machinery heart and saint rank puppets will not be sold in energy stones. Instead, they will be sold in items. Only some spiritual materials with life energy will be able to participate in the auction. Moon Spirit glanced around and explained. Long before the auction started, everyone knew about this, so they weren't surprised. However, since the mechanical heart and the saint stage puppet were being auctioned together, the price would definitely increase exponentially, and the competition would be even more intense. Su Qin, if you only have one bottle of life original fluid, I'm afraid it will be difficult for you to get it. Qi Mufeng reminded him. Su Qin was also clear about this. One bottle of primary life fluid could be exchanged for one mechanical heart, but it was impossible to exchange for two of them. However, he was not very worried. After all, he still had 8 longevity fruits and a crystal core full of life energy. In the worst case he would spend a little. In short, he was determined to get the mechanical heart and the saint-level puppet. Chapter 827. Soon, the second round of the auction officially began. However, because there were very few spiritual materials with vitality, the auction was very deserted, and there were only a dozen people bidding. Moreover, the highest bid was only 2 bottles of primary life liquid. Seeing that no one continued to raise the price, Su-Chen was about to bid when Swift Bird's strong signal came from the pet raising space. Swift Bird was so anxious, most likely because it had foreseen the existence of danger. But what danger could there be in Moonshine City? Su-Chen couldn't figure it out, but he didn't think too much about it. He immediately opened the pet raising space and asked, "Xiao Sun, what happened?" Swift Bird hurriedly replied, "Master, I feel that a terrifying existence has come here." Terrifying existence? Su-Chen slightly frowned and asked softly, "How strong is it?" "His aura is abnormally huge. There is no doubt that he is a saint-rank powerhouse." Swift Bird replied. Although a saint-rank powerhouse was powerful in the mainland, he could only exert the ability of a level 10 practitioner at most. He could not pose a threat to him at all. Su-Chen asked with some doubts, "Xiao Sun, are you sure you didn't sense it wrongly?" "Master, my senses are absolutely not wrong." Swift Bird explained and then said, "Master, this terrifying existence has not been suppressed. He is exuding the aura of a saint-rank powerhouse." "Is this true or false?" Su-Chen's brows wrinkled deeply. He still didn't believe it. After all, it was a well-known fact that cultivation was suppressed in the mainland. How could he retain the strength of a saint-rank powerhouse? Could it be that the power of the domain had become a decoration? Qi Mufeng noticed that Su-Chen's complexion was not right, and asked in a low voice, "Su-Chen, what happened?" Su-Chen did not hide anything and told him everything that Swift Bird had told him. Hearing this, everyone's expression became unusually dignified. If there really was a saint-level expert in Moonlight City who wouldn't be suppressed, no one present would be a match for him. Swift Bird's perception is an innate gift. Since it said so, it can't be wrong. Shouldn't we leave this place immediately? Qi Muyu reminded. All right, let's leave this place first. Su-Chen pondered for a while and finally made a decision. There were many suspicious points about this auction from the very beginning. When he thought of the sudden arrival of the saint-level powerhouse, he began to suspect that this auction might be a trap. And their target was the people who were participating in the auction. No one objected to Su-Chen's decision. Just as they were about to leave, a sudden change occurred. The entire auction house suddenly trembled. At the same time, an unparalleled pressure swept over from above. It gave off a very heavy and oppressive feeling, and even breathing became abnormally difficult. Saint-level aura. How was this possible? Cries of surprise rang out in the auction hall. There were many saint-level powerhouses who were participating in the auction, and they were very clear about the aura of the saint level. The entire auction house fell into a huge panic at this moment. The people in the auction house were not ordinary people, and naturally knew that it was impossible to emit the aura of the saint level on the mainland. The appearance of such a strange thing made them instinctively feel a trace of fear. But suddenly the auction house trembled again. After the tremor, a huge tree shadow slowly appeared above the auction house. Covering the sky and the sun, it actually completely enveloped the sky above the auction house. Chapter 828. Is it a saint-level monster plant? Su-Chen muttered when he sensed the saint-level aura coming from the tree. It's not a saint-level monster plant. It's the elven race's holy tree. Qi Mufeng explained. The elven race's holy tree? What was it trying to do by appearing here? Su-Chen became more and more puzzled and asked in a low voice, Brother Qi, what's the origin of this holy tree? Qi Mufeng took a deep breath and said slowly, This holy tree is known as the elven race's guardian god. It's because of its existence that the elven race can have a place among the other races. So it's very strong? Su-Chen pondered for a moment and then asked, What stage of the saint rank is it? Level 5 saint level. Qi Mufeng said in a deep voice. Shang Tsili and the others all gasped. Su-Chen couldn't help but click his tongue. At first he felt that the holy tree was very strong, but he never thought it would be this strong. Level 5 saint level monster plant was on the same level as the Qi family's ancestor. In the face of such a powerhouse, all the people present together wouldn't be enough to kill it. It's true that the elven race's holy tree is at level 5 saint level, but there was a rumor 100 years ago that it's near the end of its life and its cultivation is much weaker than before. It shouldn't be at level 5 saint level now. Wu Yazi suddenly said. He used to be a saint-level dwarf race, so it was reasonable for him to know this news. Qi Mufeng nodded and said, I've also heard this rumor. Su Chen's heart moved and he immediately contacted the intelligent war chariot. Satoshi, what's the holy tree's cultivation level? Level 1 saint level. The intelligent war chariot quickly replied. Hearing this, Su Chen let out a long sigh of relief. The elven race's holy tree's cultivation level had dropped a lot. If it was only at level 1 saint level, it wouldn't be a fatal threat to him. His originally restless mood also calmed down. Su Chen, are we still going to leave this place? Qi Mufeng asked. The appearance of the elven race's holy tree gave him a lot of psychological pressure. If he could, he wanted to escape immediately. There's no rush, Su Chen replied. There must be a reason why the elven holy tree appeared here. If they left rashly, it would be easy to attract its attention and attack them. It was better to wait and see what it was trying to do. Box 1, Box 17. Box 1350, hand over your things. Suddenly, Moon Spirit's cold voice rang out from the auction hall. Su Chen noticed that the people Moon Spirit mentioned were the ones who had bid for the mechanical heart and sage puppet. What's the meaning of this? Are you trying to steal it? An angry roar came from box number 1. Immediately afterward, there was a loud explosion, and the entire private room exploded. A majestic foreign race elder walked out from within. Li Changhong from the Wan clan castle. Qi Mufeng recognized this person at a glance. The Wan clan castle was a relatively large force in the void, and Li Changhong was also a saint-level powerhouse. A saint-level powerhouse had their own dignity. In the face of the elven race's oppression, how could they give in so easily? I was wondering who it was. So it's from the Wan clan castle. An old face suddenly appeared on the trunk of the elven race's holy tree. It sized up Li Changhong and spoke in a strange tone. Speak, what's your purpose? Li Changhong's face darkened as he snorted coldly. Hand over everything you have, or I'll kill you. The elven race's holy tree laughed sinisterly. Its voice was as cold as a glacier. It was as if Li Changhong would really kill him if he didn't do as he said. Chapter 829. As soon as this remark came out, the auction venue was suddenly filled with noise. The sacred tree of the elves actually snatched something in public in the auction venue and threatened to kill Li Changhong. This was something that no one had expected. Could it be that the sacred tree of the elves appeared here to snatch something? Qi Mufeng voiced out his thoughts. Su Chen did not quite agree with this view. If it was just for some spiritual materials with vitality, it could be exchanged and there was no need to make such a big fuss. The elves doing this was tantamount to offending everyone in the auction. One must know that there were a lot of people from big forces here, and there were even many sage-rank powerhouses. Therefore, Su Chen guessed that the elves must have other ulterior motives. It was just that he still couldn't guess it and could only continue to observe. Want to kill me? Do you think you can kill me? Li Changhong laughed wildly, and then took out a white talisman. After fiercely clenching it, a white light shot out from it and shrouded him. Here, the sacred tree of the elves could exert the strength of a sage-rank powerhouse. He knew that he was not its opponent, so he decided to escape. Want to use a space talisman to teleport away? Do you think you can escape? The sacred tree of the elves did not stop him and instead sneered. The next moment, the white light on Li Changhong's body flashed wildly for a while before finally extinguishing. You have sealed the space here. Finding that he had not been teleported away, Li Changhong's face became extremely ugly and he screamed. The sacred tree of the elves smiled gloomily. Have you forgotten where you are? Moonshine City. The Moonshine City was a top sacred tool. Could it be that the elves had already activated this sacred tool? Then what did the elves want to do? Suddenly the whole auction house fell into a panic. It was rumored that the Moonshine City could kill a level 10 powerhouse. If the elves were really plotting something, the people present would be in danger. Su Chen's face also changed slightly, and he quickly contacted the intelligent chariot. Satoshi, can you start the shuttle function to leave the elf continent? In case the sacred tree of the elves really went crazy and started a massacre, he had to leave a way out for himself. Master, the surrounding space has been sealed. We can't find the boundary point, so we can't travel, the intelligent war chariot replied. Su Chen's heart sank to the bottom. Since the space had been sealed, the purpose of the elven holy tree was obvious. Most likely he wanted to kill everyone present. The elven holy tree is up to no good. Get ready for battle, Su Qin reminded. Wu Yazi's eyelids twitched as he probed. Su Qin, do you mean that the elves are going to attack us? Su Qin nodded. That's very possible. Hearing this, everyone's expression turned ugly. Being in the Moonshine City and facing a strong person who could cast the power of a sacred rank, was it still possible for them to survive? I'll give you everything. Let me go. Li Changhong compromised and took out everything she had, including the wings of flight that she had bought at a sky-high price and the life original fluid. It's too late to take things out now. The sacred tree of the elves sneered. Suddenly, a thick branch shot out and smashed down on Li Changhong. Li Changhong desperately tried to hide, but the speed of the branch was too fast. In the blink of an eye, it had caught up with Li Changhong and swept heavily on her waist and abdomen. With a bang, Li Changhong's whole body exploded and she died on the spot. Chapter 830. Hiss. Witnessing this scene, everyone in the auction hall sucked in a cold breath. Li Changhong was a saint-level powerhouse. Even if her cultivation was suppressed, she was still much stronger than the average level 10 cultivator. However, she was killed in an instant by the elf race's holy tree. This showed how powerful the elf race's holy tree was. Is this the true power of a saint-level powerhouse? Su Qin murmured with a serious expression. This was the first time he felt a sense of crisis since he started cultivating. He could imagine that if the elf race's holy tree attacked them, he would be the only one who could resist it. Even Wu Yazi and Qi Mufeng might be killed in an instant. However, if the elf race's holy tree really wanted to attack them, he wouldn't just sit there and wait. As for whether he could defeat the elf race's holy tree, he wasn't confident at all. This was also the first time Su Qin had encountered such a situation. Su Qin, what should we do? Nan Linchuan was a bit panicked. Su Qin was the strongest among them, so they put all their hopes on Su Qin. Let's wait and see. Su Qin sighed. It was obviously impossible to leave the auction house now. Let's fight it to the death. Do you think he can kill so many people? Qi Mufeng gritted his teeth, and a determined look appeared on his face. If they really had no way out, they might have to fight with their lives. After a short moment of panic, the people in the auction house started to rush out of the auction house. However, the auction house had been completely sealed. There was no way out. Let's attack together and break the defense here. A saint-level powerhouse yelled when he saw that the situation wasn't good. It was a matter of life and death. Everyone knew that. For a moment, all kinds of spells, mind power, and evolvers' attacks hit the four walls of the auction house. Boom, boom, with a series of explosions, the entire auction house shook violently. Although the Moonshine City was a top sacred tool, it could not withstand the indiscriminate bombardment of tens of thousands of cultivators. It would not be able to hold on any longer. Su Qin had not made a move yet. He knew very well that even if he broke this place and rushed out, he would still be in the Moonshine City. It would be meaningless at all. If they wanted to leave the Moonshine City alive, it seemed that the only way was to defeat the sacred tree of the elves. You're courting death. The elven race's sacred tree roared, and countless branches shot out from its huge body, smashing down on the crowd below. Bang bang bang. Dense explosive sounds suddenly resounded in the auction hall. Even a level 10 practitioner would find it hard to withstand the violent attacks of a sacred rank. Those below level 10 would be directly smashed into dust. After suffering a round of attacks from the elven race's holy tree, thousands of cultivators in the auction hall lost their lives. The number of injured was uncountable. They were lying on the ground howling in pain. At this moment, the auction hall was like a purgatory on earth. The smell of blood soared to the sky, and miserable screams rang out continuously. Although Su Qin had not made a move yet, he found a very strange thing. The blood mist floating around was all sucked into the body of the elven sacred tree. At the same time, a powerful evil aura emanated from its body. The aura of the evil-born fruit tree? Su Qin's eyelids twitched. He clearly felt that the aura emitted by the elven sacred tree was exactly the same as the aura emitted by the evil-born fruit tree. Chapter 831. Moreover, Su Qin also noticed that the elven sacred tree's aura was rising steadily after absorbing the blood mist. At first, it was only a first-stage saint rank, but now it was almost a second-stage saint rank. I have to find a way to stop it. Su Qin didn't intend to continue watching coldly from the sidelines. Once the elven sacred tree recovered to second-stage saint rank, there would be no chance at all. Thinking of this, Su Chen quickly opened the Doomsday Maul. He first exchanged for the mysterious Sky Battle Armor, and then a bottle of level 10 Constitution Potion. The mysterious Sky Battle Armor was a defensive armor with very strong defensive capabilities. The moment the exchange was successful, it would be integrated into the body. Once there was danger, it would automatically appear and protect Su Chen. The main purpose of exchanging for the level 10 Constitution Potion was to deal with the Diamond Willow. The Diamond Willow was currently at level 9. After reaching level 10, its strength wouldn't be inferior to the level 10 gold devouring beetles. Su Chen didn't have the slightest confidence in defeating a powerful existence like the Elven Sacred Tree, so he wanted the gold devouring beetles and the Diamond Willow to assist him. After the Diamond Willow reached level 10, Su Chen directly summoned the gold devouring beetles and the Diamond Willow. He said to Wu Yazi and Qi Mufeng, "Senior Brother Qi, let's deal with the Elven Sacred Tree together." Wu Yazi's 18 shields had been upgraded to sacred artifacts after fusing with the 9 Dragon Blood Coffin. With this sacred artifact, his defense wasn't inferior to the gold devouring beetles and the Diamond Willow. Although Qi Mufeng's defense was relatively weak, his strongest killing move's attack power was only inferior to Wu Yazi's. At the critical moment, he could deal a fatal blow to the Elven Sacred Tree. "Su Chen, what about us?" Shang Tsili asked in a low voice. "You guys enter my chaos space first." Su Chen replied and opened the chaos space, taking Shang Tsili and the others into it. Although Shang Tsili and the others weren't weak, they were too weak in front of the Elven Sacred Tree. They would probably be killed in an instant. This move was also considered for their safety. "Let's go." Su Chen took a deep breath and smashed the box with a punch. He was the first to charge toward the Elven Sacred Tree. Without any hesitation, Wu Yazi and his 2 spirit pets followed closely behind Su Chen. At the same time, the Elven Sacred Tree continued its massacre. The number of people who survived the auction was less than 1/10 of the original number. "Ah, all of you will die." The Elven race's sacred tree laughed wantonly. Just as it was about to continue attacking, it suddenly noticed 5 figures flying towards it. Initially he did not care. After all, Su Chen and the others were level 10 cultivators. In his eyes they were like ants. However, it was shocked when it sensed a terrifying icy aura coming at it. It's an ice spell that's beyond level 10. The Elven Sacred Tree did not dare to be careless. It threw out a thick branch and smashed it towards the white torrent. In the next moment, as soon as the two touched, the thick branch was sealed in ice. Su Chen took advantage of the situation and threw out a punch. There was a loud bang. The entire branch was smashed into pieces. Seeing this, Wu Yazi and the others were invigorated and attacked together. With a dragon's roar, Qi Mufeng used the 10,000 lightning sword transformation technique and turned into a blue dragon. He directly opened a long crack on the Elven Sacred Tree's body. However, after this attack he no longer had the energy to attack. Just as he was about to retreat, he was hit by a branch. The huge dragon was defeated in an instant. Qi Mufeng, who had revealed his true form, spat out a mouthful of blood and flew down. Chapter 832. Die for me. After suffering 2 heavy blows in a row, the Elven Sacred Tree's anger had reached its peak. It did not intend to let Qi Mufeng live. He controlled a huge branch and smashed it towards Qi Mufeng in the air. After Qi Mufeng landed, he had already fainted due to his heavy injuries. There was no way for him to dodge at all. Su Chen was further away, so it was too late for him to rescue him. Fortunately, Wu Yazi was closer. He rushed in front of Qi Mufeng and released 18 red and black shields to block in front of him. There was a loud explosion. The thick branch smashed down from the sky and smashed Wu Yazi and Wu Yazi into the ground. "You're next." The Elven Sacred Tree's gaze fell on Su Chen, and a fierce murderous aura burst out. Buzz! There was a violent vibration in the void. Dozens of branches danced in the air and smashed towards Su Chen. The gold-devouring beetles and Diamond Willow tried to stop it, but they were easily sent flying. Su Chen's expression was extremely solemn, but he would not sit still and wait for death. When the branches came crashing down, a golden armor suddenly appeared on his body, and he released his mental power. Then he smashed the primary 5 Extremes mountain in his hand. Bang bang, there was a series of explosive sounds. After the primordial 5 Extremes mountain broke a few branches, it was sent flying. The remaining branches all came down on Su Chen. A dazzling purple light flashed on his feet. Su Chen moved his feet and disappeared like a ghost. Bang bang. Boom, a few branches smashed where Su Chen was originally standing, and the ground was smashed into pieces. Su Chen dodged the fatal blow and rushed towards the elven sacred tree. Suddenly, a sound pierced through the air and entered his ears. It was a branch that suddenly sprung up from the ground and smashed towards him. It happened so suddenly that it was too late for Su Chen to dodge. Let's see how you're going to hide now. A cruel smile appeared on the face of the elven race's sacred tree, as though it was treating Su Chen as a dead man. I don't need to dodge. Su Chen snorted coldly and launched the long-arm golden scales and the super strength technique at the same time. Buzz. A golden fist suddenly smashed out, and the shrill fist wind caused the surrounding void to tremble. The next moment, Su Chen punched the branch that was flying towards him. At the moment of contact, a violent force wreaked havoc. A loud bang was heard. The thick branches shattered inch by inch, turning into countless pieces that shot out in all directions. How is this possible? Seeing this, the elven sacred tree cried out in shock. Su Chen's punch was actually able to destroy its saint-level body, which was something it had never expected. And from what it saw, Su Chen was like a bolt of lightning, rushing in front of it in the blink of an eye. Immediately after, it felt its vision blur. In his sight, Su Chen turned into 2 and then into 4. Soon there were 10 phantoms that looked exactly like him. What kind of magic is this? The elven sacred tree was shocked when it sensed the aura of a level 10 expert from the 10 shadows. Su Chen, moon spirit who was hiding under the elven sacred tree, had a complicated look on her face after seeing Su Chen's appearance. She did not expect Su Chen to appear here. And Su Chen's strength had actually improved by leaps and bounds to the point where he could fight against the elven sacred tree, which shocked her even more. She still clearly remembered that Su Chen was only level 8 when they were on Chongsu Island. In just a few months, Su Chen had advanced to level 10. This kind of terrifying cultivation speed was too inconceivable. In the next moment, the faint glow on the branches surged onto Su Chen's body. Suddenly, Su Chen felt his soul tremble. The heaven-reaching hundredfold vigorous force technique, which had been running smoothly, stopped at that moment. Bang! The balance was broken and Su Chen was sent flying more than 10 meters away. However, he was wearing the Shantian armor and had the ancient god-fiend body. After taking the blow, he didn't suffer much damage. Your physical body is actually so strong? The elven sacred tree widened its eyes in disbelief. It had used the power of faith, but it still couldn't do anything to Su Chen, which made it deeply wary. At the same time, it was even more determined to get rid of Su Chen. You're just SOSO. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and stared at the elven sacred tree with a cold glint in his eyes. The elven sacred tree wanted to get rid of him, but he also wanted to kill it. Chapter 834. From the looks of it, Su Chen was in a disadvantageous position. However, the elven holy tree's attack method was relatively simple. The only thing to pay attention to was the opponent's power of faith. The power of faith was not a physical attack but a soul attack. It was very strange. You are indeed very strong and qualified to be my opponent. But here I am a godlike existence. Those who challenge me must die. The elven holy tree sneered, and a bright white light appeared all over its body. This white light was none other than the condensed power of faith. So much power of faith. Su Chen's expression was extremely solemn. Even if he had not come into contact with the power of faith, his soul could not help but tremble. In this way, no matter what method he used, it would be greatly reduced. Su Chen, I'm afraid we're going to die here today. Wu Yazi dragged the unconscious Qi Mufeng to Su Chen's side and sighed deeply. The gold-devouring beetles and diamond willow also flew over from afar and blocked in front of Su Chen. Su Chen's eyes were still firm. It was impossible for him to accept his fate. However, he also knew that the elven holy tree's power of faith was not something he could resist. If he wanted to live, he had to think of other ways. Suddenly, he thought of the City of Faith. The City of Faith had the word, faith. Could it also contain the power of faith? At this point, it could be said that he was treating a dead horse as a living horse. Su Chen quickly opened the Doomsday Shopping Center and exchanged the remaining 10,000 energy points for the City of Faith. The moment the exchange was successful, a small golden city appeared in his storage bag, and the feedback was transmitted to his mind. Simply put, the City of Faith was something used to store and plunder the power of faith. When the power of faith reached a certain level, it could be fed back to the user for leveling up or used to attack. After reading the feedback, Su Chen was inexplicably excited. The City of Faith had the ability to plunder the power of faith. Didn't that mean he could plunder all the power of faith from the elven holy tree? Human, it's your honor to die in my hands. The holy tree of the elves looked at Su Chen with contempt and said coldly. Just as he was about to make a move, Moon Spirit suddenly sprinted toward the elven holy tree and pleaded, "Holy Ancestor, Su Chen has helped me before, please spare his life." What was going on? Wu Yazi and the others were stunned. Then they all turned to look at Su Chen. Moon Spirit, as the princess of the elven tribe, had taken the risk to plead for Su Chen. This meant that the relationship between the two of them was not ordinary. However, Su Chen had said before that he and Moon Spirit had only met once, and their relationship was very thin. Moon Spirit's actions were a little strange. Su Chen rubbed his nose and pretended to be deep in thought as he said, "Moon Spirit is a righteous person. You don't have to think too much." On the other side, the elven sacred tree glanced at Moon Spirit coldly and sneered, "Do you think that just because you're the princess of the elven tribe, you have the right to say such things to me? To tell you the truth, you're just a puppet that I placed in the tribe. Since you're disobedient, I'll have to replace you with someone else." As soon as he finished speaking, he waved a branch towards Moon Spirit without any hesitation. "I'm just a puppet in the eyes of the Holy Ancestor." Moon Spirit stood rooted to the ground as if she was struck by lightning. She had no intention of dodging. However, she was only at level 6. Even if she wanted to dodge, she couldn't. At this critical moment, Su Chen made his move. After all, Moon Spirit was here to help him. He couldn't just watch Moon Spirit die in front of him. Chapter 835. Su Chen activated the Rapid War Boots and charged toward Moon Spirit like a bolt of lightning. Halfway there, he punched from afar. This punch looked ordinary, but it actually used the intent level Abhijna. Even though the elven sacred tree was a saint, it was still affected by the Abhijna and was stunned for a moment. Su Chen took this opportunity to rush to Moon Spirit's side, hugged her and returned to the original spot. "Su Chen." Moon Spirit came back to her senses and her face was dark red. "Give it to me." Su Chen took the mechanical heart and the saint puppet from Moon Spirit's hands. Then he opened his storage bag and installed the mechanical heart on the golden puppet. The golden puppet was originally a saint puppet. Even if its cultivation was suppressed, it was still stronger than the gold-devouring beetles and the diamond willow. Now that the situation was critical, one more helper meant one more chance of victory. After installing the mechanical heart, the golden puppet quickly recovered and said excitedly, "Su Chen, you found the mechanical heart so quickly. Tetsu, I'm in danger now and I need your help." Su Chen didn't have time to explain anything and directly summoned the golden puppet. Although he didn't have any relationship with the golden puppet, he believed that the golden puppet would help him. There was a rumbling sound. The moment the golden puppet appeared, the entire auction house trembled. "I'll kill whoever dares to bully you." The golden puppet laughed wildly as soon as it appeared. Its voice was powerful and domineering as if it didn't care about anything. Su Chen felt that the golden puppet was a bit pretentious. He clicked his tongue and pointed at the elven sacred tree. "It's him. Can you beat it?" The golden puppet turned its huge head to look at the elven sacred tree. When it felt the violent aura from the sacred tree, its huge body trembled. It lowered its head and said to Su Chen, "How can this guy be a saint stage? Its cultivation had been suppressed to level 10, so why was the elven holy tree able to possess the cultivation of a sacred rank?" This made it very puzzled. "You're not afraid, are you?" The corner of Su Chen's mouth twitched slightly and he chuckled. "A little." The golden puppet spoke truthfully. If it was an opponent of the same level, it wouldn't be afraid of any opponent. However, if he was facing a saint-level expert, it would indeed bring him great pressure. "Do you think you can survive just because you have one more saint-level puppet?" The elven sacred tree squinted and sneered and said, "Today you'll all die." As soon as it finished speaking, it waved a branch wrapped in white light and smashed it down from the sky. "Don't have." The golden puppet gritted its teeth and charged forward bravely. Su Chen knew that the golden puppet was definitely no match for the elven sacred tree with the power of faith. It might be shattered in an instant. So, he quickly took out the City of Faith and threw it into the air. Suddenly, a powerful suction force was released from it. This suction force didn't work on other things, but it was the nemesis of the power of faith. The white light on the thick branch surged into the city of faith like a whale sucking in water. What the hell is this? The elven sacred tree was shocked and quickly put away the power of faith. But at this moment, the golden puppet had collided with the thick paper. Even without the power of faith, the golden puppet was no match for it. There was a muffled bang. The golden puppet was beaten back again and again, and as it retreated, the ground beneath its feet collapsed under its feet. Chapter 836. After repelling the golden puppet, the holy tree of the elves waved its branches straight at the city of faith. The city of faith could steal its power of faith, so it must be destroyed. Suchin was already prepared for this. He immediately put away the city of faith, making the attack of the holy tree of the elves fall through. However, even if it lost the power of faith, the power of the holy tree of the elves was beyond doubt. While Suchin was pondering how to defeat the holy tree of the elves, Moon Spirit's voice sounded in his ear. Suchin, I can put away the Moonshine City. Was this true or false? Suchin was inexplicably surprised. The reason why the holy tree of the elves could exert the strength of a saint-rank expert was mostly because of the Moonshine City. If the Moonshine City was put away, the holy tree of the elves would be suppressed by the power of the domain, and its cultivation base would fall to level 10. At that time, killing it would be as simple as pinching an ant. However, what made him somewhat puzzled was that, with the identity and status of the holy tree of the elves, shouldn't the Moonshine City be under its control? Why could Moon Spirit still control the Moonshine City? I really can. Moon Spirit nodded her head heavily and then explained, only those with royal blood can control the Moonshine City, and among the elves, I am the only one with this bloodline. Suchin did not care whether it was true or false and hurriedly said, how long will it take you to put away the Moonshine City? A few minutes or so. Moon Spirit quickly replied. Then hurry up. Suchin urged. At this time, the holy tree of the elves launched another attack. The gold-devouring beetles and the Vajra willow desperately tried to stop it, but they were directly smashed into the ground by a branch. Wu Yazi's situation was also very bad. The 18 shields had faintly cracked, and he feared that they would not last long before they were broken. Suchin first put the seriously injured Qi Mufeng into the primal chaos space, and then said to Wu Yazi, Senior, you guys join hands to protect Moon Spirit. I will deal with him. The Spirit Su Holy Tree didn't dare to use the power of faith, so its deterrence was greatly reduced. It wouldn't be a problem to deal with it for a while. Although Wu Yazi didn't know why Suchin was doing this, he still followed Suchin's instructions and went to Moon Spirit's side. The golden puppet, gold-devouring beetles and diamond willow did the same. They worked together with Wu Yazi to protect Moon Spirit. On the other side, Suchin was already engaged in a fierce battle with the elven sacred tree. From the looks of it, Suchin was at a disadvantage, but he would not be defeated in a short period of time. While the man and the tree were fighting each other, the entire auction hall suddenly trembled as if there was an earthquake. Seeing this, the elven tribe's sacred tree's expression changed abruptly. He glanced at Moon Spirit and roared, Moon Spirit, you be *Ts. How dare you betray me? The unusual movement in the auction venue was a sign that Moon Spirit was collecting the Moonshine City. Once the Moonshine City was taken away, it would be suppressed by the power of the domain, and it would have no advantage at all. Therefore he had to stop Moon Spirit. Human, you have forced me to do this. The elven tribe's sacred tree looked at Suchin, its eyes full of bone-chilling coldness. As soon as those words fell, a red light flashed on its trunk, and the face of a seductive woman appeared. At the same time, the aura of the elven tribe's sacred tree rose steadily, and soon reached the second level of the sacred rank. Second level of the sacred rank. Wu Yazi's complexion completely changed, and his eyes were full of despair. The elven tribe's sacred tree, who was at the first level of the sacred rank, could crush them. When it reached the second level of the sacred rank, it was enough to destroy them. Chapter 837. Kakik. As soon as the seductive woman appeared, she sneered and then said to the elven sacred tree, You need to call me out to kill a few ants. You are getting worse and worse. The elven sacred tree's face was sullen, and it snorted. The human in front of me is a level 10 full-time cultivator. He has many magical powers and several sacred weapons, and one of them can absorb the power of my faith. Suchin was 2 levels lower than it, but he could fight with it, which was enough to prove his strength. It was impossible to defeat Suchin in a short time. In order to stop Moon Spirit, it could only summon the seductive woman. A mere human can have such strength. He is indeed a rare cultivation genius in the world. The seductive woman looked at Su Chen with interest and murmured thoughtfully. You are an evil fruit tree, right? Su Chen narrowed his eyes and said faintly. The aura emitted by the seductive woman was the same as the evil fruit tree that he had killed, which made him suspicious. Moreover, he finally understood why the elven sacred tree had killed so many people at the auction. It was likely to help the evil fruit tree devour the essence and blood of cultivators to improve its strength. You know a lot. I am a little reluctant to kill you. The seductive woman chuckled. Moon Spirit is collecting Moonshine City. Don't waste time. The elven sacred tree reminded her with a cold face. The seductive woman put away her smile and said flatly, Don't worry, I only need one move to kill him. After saying that, she waved a blood-colored branch and smashed it toward Su Chen. In an instant, an extremely strong evil aura rushed toward Su Chen. If it were someone else, they would have lost their mind and become a puppet of the evil fruit tree under the shroud of this evil aura. However, Su Chen had the ancient god-demon body, which could restrain all evil demonic aura. Just as the blood-red branch was about to hit him, he moved his feet and disappeared from the spot like a ghost. How is this possible? Seeing that Su Chen was not affected in the slightest by the evil aura, the seductive woman involuntarily cried out. I've long said that this kid isn't simple. Let's attack together and kill him. The elven sacred tree snorted and was about to attack. Su Chen, who was floating in the air, slowly pulled out a pitch-black saber. This saber was the enchanted saber. However, compared to before, the sharp aura that radiated from the blade was dozens of times stronger than before. It had reached the level of a saint artifact. Just now, when he was talking to the evil birth fruit tree, he had secretly spent dozens of level-up gems to upgrade the enchanted divine saber to the highest quality in one go. On top of that, he also consumed several magic fusion gems to fuse his ice magic and fire magic. The combination of the elven holy tree and the evil-born fruit tree had reached the second stage of the saint rank. Chapter 838. Su Chen's expression was solemn as he suddenly slashed down with his saber. A torrent of red and white shot out from it. At the same time, the 8 waste destruction flame and the bone-chilling netherworld flame merged with it. Instantly, a fiery aura like a volcanic eruption and a cold aura like a glacier appeared in the auction house at the same time. The fusion of the two completely different magical auras, together with the support of the two mystical flames, produced a power that shook the heavens and earth, giving off a feeling that the world was about to be destroyed. What kind of divine ability was this? The elven sacred tree and the evil fruit tree were so frightened that they could not stop trembling. They wanted to escape immediately. Wu Yazi was also inexplicably shocked. He opened his mouth wide and could not close it for a long time. Su Chen's attack was extremely terrifying. Under the devastating pressure, the entire auction house seemed to be on the verge of collapse. Those who were lucky enough to survive all crawled on the ground, trembling. Even the sage-level powerhouses were no exception. In the next moment, the torrent of ice and fire poured down and easily crushed the 2 branches into fine powder. Then it heavily hit the elven sacred tree's body. The elven sacred tree was immediately frozen and then melted into a mist under the scorching heat. In the blink of an eye, the elven sacred tree's huge body turned into nothingness. Su Chen actually killed a stage 2 sage-level powerhouse. Wu Yazi's eyes widened, and the corners of his mouth trembled. Even though he had seen it with his own eyes, he still felt that it was unbelievable. It's not dead yet. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and muttered. Although the elven sacred tree and the evil fruit tree were gone, they did not drop any fragments. This meant that they were not dead yet. However, he did not have the spare energy to investigate now. After such a shocking attack, he felt weak all over as if he had been hollowed out. A feeling of extreme weakness welled up in his heart. Su Chen slowly floated to Wu Yazi's side and panted heavily. Su Chen, are you all right? Wu Yazi asked worriedly when he felt that Su Chen's aura was a little weak. I'm fine. Su Chen smirked and turned to look at the direction where the elven holy tree had sent the message. Senior, they shouldn't be dead yet. Be careful. Not dead yet? Wu Yazi's expression turned cold as he vigilantly scanned his surroundings. Suddenly, 2 palm-sized plants, one red and one green, emerged from the ground in the distance. Above their heads floated a stone bowl that was about 10 feet in size. It was filled with a green liquid that emitted an extremely rich aura of life. Suddenly, the stone bowl tilted down slightly, and a large amount of liquid poured onto the two plants. The next moment, a strange scene appeared. After the two plants absorbed the liquid, they grew rapidly. In the blink of an eye, they were more than 10 feet tall. Moreover, their auras rose steadily and soon they reached level 10. That stone bowl is the spirit spring of life. They're using the spirit spring to recover their cultivation. Wuxia roared. Su Qin hadn't recovered yet. Once he returned to the Saint Realm, they would all be in danger. However, it was too late to stop it now. Su Qin was also anxious, but his current state didn't allow him to make a move. At this critical moment, Moon Spirit opened her mouth and said, "Su Qin, I have complete control of Moonshine City. I can collect it now." Hearing this, Su Qin let out a long sigh of relief and hurriedly said, "Hurry up and collect it." There was a rumbling sound. After a burst of earth shaking, Su Qin only felt a blur in front of his eyes. When his line of sight became clear, he found that he had come to a flat land. At this time, Moon Spirit was holding a small silver city in her hands. From the outside, it was Moonshine City that had shrunk countless times. Chapter 839. We've already left Moonshine City. Wuxia laughed heartily. After leaving Moonshine City, they would be suppressed by the power of the domain, and the elven sacred tree and the evil-born fruit tree would no longer be able to exert the strength of sacred rank. "Senior, let's do it together," Su Qin reminded. Now was the perfect opportunity to kill the elven sacred tree. They must not give it a chance to breathe and escape. "Kill?" Wuxia yelled and rushed forward. Before in Moonshine City, he was suppressed to the point of vomiting blood. Now was the time to take revenge. The golden puppet, gold-devouring beetles, and Vajra Willow also rushed up together. Just in case, Su Qin opened the primal chaos space, and summoned Li Kueyang and others. "Su Qin, are you all right?" Shang Tsili stared at Su Qin and asked anxiously. Previously, they learned from Qi Mufeng that a sacred tree that could exert the strength of sacred rank had appeared in the auction. They were all worried about the safety of Su Qin. "Sect Master, rest assured we're all right." Su Qin smiled and then said, "Now that we've left Moonshine City, and that guy's cultivation has been suppressed, you can help Senior Wuxia." Shang Tsili breathed a sigh of relief and then joined the others to besiege the elven sacred tree. At this time, Qi Mufeng walked to Su Qin's side and asked, "Su Qin, how did you leave Moonshine City?" "In the primal chaos space. He took some top-healing sacred medicines and soon woke up. His injuries were almost healed. After seeing so many experts besieging the elven sacred tree, he did not join in. This is thanks to Princess Moon Spirit. She put away Moonshine City. Otherwise we would all be in danger." Su Qin glanced at the Moonshine City in Moon Spirit's hand and explained, "Many thanks to Princess Moon Spirit for her help," Qi Mufeng said solemnly. Although he said so, he still had some doubts in his heart. Since Moon Spirit was the princess of the elven race, she should be on the same side as the elven sacred tree. Why would she help them? "Senior, you're too polite." Moon Spirit was a little embarrassed. She stole a glance at Su Qin and said, "Speaking of which, I have to thank Su Qin. If it wasn't for him, I would have been killed." Qi Mufeng was knocked out, so he didn't know what happened after that. He asked curiously, "What happened after that?" Moon Spirit started from when she was rescued by Su Qin. She told him everything that had happened afterward. Qi Mufeng's jaw dropped when he heard that Su Qin had almost killed the elven race's holy tree. Originally, he thought that Su Qin's fighting skill of 10,000 lights 10 shadows was his strongest skill. He did not expect that Su Qin still had such a fatal move. To be able to destroy a second-level Saint Realm expert was simply unimaginable and unimaginable. He even thought that if it weren't for the spirit spring of life, the elven sacred tree would have been killed by Su Qin. Qi Mufeng took a deep breath, looked at Su Qin and probed, "Su Qin, you still have such a killing move?" Su Qin smiled faintly, "It's just a little trick." "Little trick?" Qi Mufeng was slightly stunned. He felt that Su Qin was too modest. This guy is really powerful. Su Qin glanced in the direction of the elven sacred tree, and his brows wrinkled slightly. The elven sacred tree and the evil-born fruit tree had fused together. Its strength was extremely powerful, and there was a steady stream of spirit spring of life to heal its injuries. Therefore, even if it was completely suppressed by a group of powerhouses, it had been resisting tenaciously. Chapter 840. Su Qin glanced at it, then turned to Moon Spirit and asked, "Moon Spirit, when did the elven sacred tree and the evil fruit tree get together?" "I don't know either." Moon Spirit shook her head, then guessed, "The sacred tree's lifespan is coming to an end. Maybe it wants to live, so it cooperated with the evil fruit tree." Su Chen felt that this possibility was quite high. Some powerhouses were very unwilling when their lifespan was coming to an end. Some did not hesitate to turn into zombies, while others took the initiative to enter the abandoned land. It was reasonable for the elven sacred tree to cooperate with the evil fruit tree in order to survive. "Su Chen, I'll go and help them." Seeing that Wu Yazi and the others could not do anything to the elven sacred tree, Qi Mufeng was a little anxious. "Let me do it," Su Chen replied. Qi Mufeng was injured. Even if he used the 10,000 lightning sword transformation technique, he might not be able to hurt the elven sacred tree. He had rested for a while and had basically recovered. "All right then." Qi Mufeng nodded. He had a deep understanding of Su Chen's strength. It was simply beyond his understanding. Su Chen would not have any problems dealing with the elven sacred tree personally. "Everyone stop. Let me teach this guy a lesson." Su Chen stepped forward and said loudly. Wu Yazi and the others did not hesitate at all and retreated together. "Human, let me live. I can give you the spring of life." The elven sacred tree looked at Su Chen cautiously and said in a negotiating tone. Su Chen's previous slash had left an indelible shadow in its heart. Even a stage 2 sacred rank could not stop it. Now that it was only level 10, there was no chance of survival. "If I kill you, won't the spring of life still be mine?" Su Chen curled his lips and sneered. In this battle he had used up all his energy points. He needed to replenish some. The elven sacred tree was a sacred rank existence. Killing it would definitely drop a lot of fragments. Therefore, even if the elven race's holy tree had a lot of tricks up its sleeves, it still couldn't escape death. Whoosh! Su Chen activated his full speed and appeared in front of the elven race's holy tree in the blink of an eye. He held the integrated 5 Extremes mountain and smashed it down. "I'll kill you." The holy tree of the elf race roared and swung its branches at Su Chen. Although he knew that he was no match for Su Chen, he would not sit still and wait for death. Moreover, he didn't put up any defenses. He was actually planning to fight to the death with Su Chen. Seeing this, Su Chen scoffed and allowed the branches to hit his body. In the next moment, all the branches smashed onto Su Chen's body, but they all bounced off strangely, not even tickling him. Witnessing this strange scene, not only was the elven sacred tree stunned, but even Qi Muyu and the others who did not know Su Chen well widened their eyes. They could not understand how Su Chen could ignore these attacks. Just as the elven sacred tree was stunned, the integrated 5 Extremes mountain came down on its head. There was a loud boom. The elven sacred tree was heavily smashed to the ground, and even the ground was filled with dense cracks. Su Chen walked up and used the 100 times strength technique. His hands were flying as he tore at the branches of the elven sacred tree. Crack! The crisp sound of something breaking could be heard without end. Under Su Chen's ravaging, the elven sacred tree became a bare tree trunk in the blink of an eye. Chapter 841. Too ferocious, too brutal. Witnessing this scene, Qi Muyu and the others were speechless. They could see clearly that Su Chen could easily kill the elven sacred tree, but he used such a method. It was undoubtedly torturing the elven sacred tree. "Sister, in the future in front of Su Chen you must be low-key. Don't provoke him." Qi Muyu pulled Qi Mushua's arm and reminded her in a low voice. "Got it?" Qi Mushua nodded with lingering fear. Previously she had fought with Su Chen and quarreled with him. Now that she thought about it, she was a little scared. "Human, kill me if you have the ability." After being tortured by Su Chen, the elven sacred tree had nothing to live for and roared angrily. "Don't worry, I will kill you." Su Chen's mouth showed a hint of mockery, and then he smashed down with the primary 5 poles mountain. After several hits, the thick trunk of the elven sacred tree was broken into several sections, and some parts were even smashed into powder. When he was in Moonshine City, the elven sacred tree was extremely arrogant, which made him hold back his anger. If he did not teach it a lesson, how could he calm the anger in his heart? "I will not let you go even if I become a ghost." The elven sacred tree, with only a face left, was extremely weak, but it gritted its teeth and growled. "Even if you become a ghost, I can still destroy you." Su Chen snorted coldly and blasted the elven sacred tree with a punch, and then took a demon core from its trunk. Compared with ordinary demon cores, this demon core was red and green in color, and it was mixed with a strong evil aura. Obviously, this was the result of fusing with the evil fruit tree. Suchin glanced at it and put it into the storage pouch. Then he took the spring of life in his hand. After being consumed by the elven sacred tree, the spiritual liquid inside was less than a quarter of the original. Even so, it still exuded a rich aura of life. Suchen's heart skipped a beat, and he activated the planting dimension to communicate with the longevity fruit tree. Satoshi, have you heard of the fountain of life? He wanted to confirm whether the spring of life really had the effect of accelerating the growth of spirit plants through the longevity fruit tree. I've heard of it. The longevity fruit tree nodded and said, the spring of life is actually a high-quality sacred artifact. The spiritual liquid it produces can accelerate the growth of spiritual plants and can also be used to heal injuries. The spring of life was a divine artifact? Suchin raised his eyebrows and asked, then how does it produce the spiritual liquid? Originally, he thought that the amount of spiritual liquid in the spring of life was fixed and that there would be no more after it was used up. However, according to the longevity fruit tree, the spirit spring of life seemed to be able to automatically produce spirit liquid. If that was the case, it would be like adding wings to a tiger for him. Because in the planting space, there were still many spiritual plants waiting to be irrigated. The method is very simple. As long as you add energy stones into the spring of life, it will automatically convert into spiritual liquid. The higher the quality of the energy stones, the higher the conversion ratio, the longevity fruit tree said. Suchin was overjoyed. He immediately sent the spring of life into the planting space, and said to the longevity fruit tree, little longevity, see if this is the spring of life. Master, this is the spring of life. The longevity fruit tree was extremely excited. At the same time, it was secretly amazed by Suchen's ability to get any kind of treasure. I'll leave the spring of life to you. Hurry up and mature the primordial spirit-shaping fruit tree. Suchin instructed and left a large number of energy stones. Then he closed the planting space. Chapter 842. Then Suchin collected the fragments, took out the intelligent war chariot, and asked everyone to get on. After Moonlight City was taken by Moon Spirit, the people who originally lived in the city were scattered around. They gathered together and the scene was extremely chaotic. Suchin didn't like this kind of noisy place, so he let the intelligent war chariot leave. After arriving at a quieter place, Suchin said to Moon Spirit, your mechanical heart and that saint-level puppet are useful to me, so I won't give them to you. However, I will give you something as compensation. No need, I'll give them to you. Moon Spirit didn't care. It was thanks to Suchin's help that she was able to survive this time. Giving away the mechanical heart and saint-level puppet was only right. Suchin nodded slightly. He definitely had to give her something. After all, the value of the mechanical heart and saint-level puppet was obvious. It was just that he didn't have anything suitable for the time being. Where did you get the mechanical heart and saint-level puppet? Suchin continued to ask. They were given to me by the holy tree. Moon Spirit didn't hide anything. Suchin could imagine that the holy tree of the elven race must have used the mechanical heart and saint-level puppet as bait to attract more cultivators to the auction. Unfortunately, he went for wool and came home shorn, and all the good things fell into his hands. You guys take a rest first. Suchin said and opened the storage bag to contact the golden puppet. Otetsu, those two puppets are also from your mechanical race, right? Yes. The golden puppet replied affirmatively and then said gratefully, Suchin, thank you for helping me find my clansmen. There were very few mechanical race clansmen in the world, and Suchin could find two of them at once, which made him very excited. His gratitude to Suchin was also from the bottom of his heart. You're welcome. Suchin smiled. With two more saint-level puppets, his strength would also soar. Therefore, the golden puppet's gratitude was unnecessary. What level of cultivation are your two clansmen at? Can I still fight like you after installing the mechanical heart? Suchin asked. This was what he was more concerned about. Because soon he would enter the void. The dangers in the void were unpredictable, and he urgently needed to improve his combat strength. They're all at the first level of the saint rank. They'll definitely wake up once the mechanical heart is installed. The golden puppet paused for a moment before continuing, however, they're all support type and don't have much combat power. Support type? Suchin frowned slightly. If they didn't have any combat power, wouldn't they become two pieces of scrap metal? But why would a saint-level puppet have no fighting power? He couldn't figure it out. The golden puppet explained, Support-type puppets can also be called combo puppets. Only when they are combined can they unleash their greatest power. Forming a transformer? Su Chen raised his eyebrows. He still remembered that when he was on Jiaosu Island on the human continent, the puppet clan had merged two steel puppets together. After the merger, the puppets' level directly increased by 1 level. The two puppets of the mechanical race were both at the same level. When they were combined, how powerful would their strength be? Su Chen was a little expectant, so he asked, "Otetsu, are they a pair? Or a combination of multiple puppets?" "No." The golden puppet replied and then explained, "They're all installed on me." Chapter 843. Su Chen paused for a moment, then asked, "What level can you reach if I install it?" "Every time I install one, it'll increase by 1 level. I can install a maximum of 5, said the golden puppet. Hiss. Su Chen gasped, then hurriedly asked, "What level are you at?" "Level 1. Hearing this, Su Chen clenched his fists, his face filled with excitement. If he could install 5 of them, wouldn't the golden puppet become a 6th level Saint rank expert? It would be a level higher than the Qi family's ancestor, and it would be an existence that could do whatever it wanted in the void. But so far he only had 2 puppets and he only knew the whereabouts of one of the remaining 3. Also, without the mechanical heart, even if he found all of them, he wouldn't be able to wake them up. So, if he wanted to help the golden puppet reach level 6 Saint, it would be a long way to go. After that, Su Chen and the golden puppet talked about the machine empire for a while, then closed the storage pouch. Then he began to organize the fragments. Although he had only killed 1 sacred tree, its level was very high. Hence, it had dropped nearly 10,000 fragments. Su Chen spent more than an hour organizing the fragments, then exchanged a bottle of level 7 constitution potion, and gave it to Moon Spirit. The value of the potion couldn't compare to the mechanical heart and the saint rank puppet, but he was in a hurry to leave, so he didn't have anything better to offer. "Su Chen, what's this?" Moon Spirit had never seen a constitution potion before, so she asked curiously. Su Chen explained, "It's a potion that can increase one's cultivation. After consuming it, you'll immediately increase by 1 level." Hearing this, Moon Spirit's expression changed, and the hand holding the vitality potion started to tremble. There were items that could increase one's cultivation, but each one of them was extremely precious. Moreover, Su Chen gave her something that could increase one's cultivation by 1 level, which made it even more precious. "Su Chen, thank you, but this is too precious. I can't accept it." Moon Spirit returned the physique potion to Su Chen. Su Chen didn't take it. He said, "We're about to leave this place. You should keep it to level up. That way you'll be able to protect yourself." "You're leaving so soon?" Moon Spirit's expression darkened. "There are still many things waiting to be dealt with." Su Chen nodded. It was urgent to find the Tree of Life. Since the matter here was over, they naturally had to return to the human world as soon as possible. Moon Spirit pondered for a long time. She gritted her teeth and said, "Su Chen, can I follow you?" "Follow us?" Su Chen furrowed his brows slightly. Moon Spirit was the princess of the elves. If she left, wouldn't the elves fall into chaos? Thinking of this, Su Chen probed, "If you leave, who will control the elf tribe? What about your mother and elder Yuqi?" Elder Feather 7 had always been inseparable from Moon Spirit, but he didn't see her this time, which surprised Su Chen. "No one controls the elves. Even if I stay, I won't be able to control them." Moon Spirit sighed faintly and then said, "As for my mother and Elder Feather 7, they disappeared inexplicably some time ago. At first I had some doubts, but now I'm basically sure that they must have been killed by the holy tree." Su Chen nodded slightly. He somewhat understood why Moon Spirit wanted to follow him. With Moon Spirit's strength alone, without the help of strong people, it was indeed difficult for her to gain a foothold in the elves. Moreover, she also had a precious treasure in Moonshine City, which could attract the attention of others. For all they knew, Moon Spirit might have been killed by someone the moment they left. Chapter 844. Then you can follow us. Su Chen agreed. In fact, it was also very beneficial for him to have Moon Spirit by his side. After all, the Moonshine City was a top sacred tool. At the critical moment, it could trap the opponent and beat them up. "Thank you, Su Chen." Moon Spirit was overjoyed. Since he had promised Moon Spirit, he would let her get familiar with everyone. Subsequently, Su Chen opened the chaos space, had a simple conversation with Tan Lin, introduced Moon Spirit's situation, and sent Moon Spirit into the chaos space. Brother Qi, I'm going to return to the human continent soon. What are your plans? Su Qin came to Qi Mufeng's side and asked. I came out this time mainly to gain experience. It's the same wherever I go. I've long wanted to see the human continent, so I'll go with you. After Qi Mufeng finished speaking, he looked at Qi Muyu and Qi Muxue. What about you too? I want to go too. Qi Muxue did not hesitate at all, but when she saw Su Qin staring at her, she lowered her head in fear. I have nothing else to do, so I'll go with you, Qi Muyu said with a smile. This time they came to the elf continent mainly to exchange for the mechanical heart. Unexpectedly, so many things happened in the middle. They did not get the mechanical heart, but instead lost a bottle of life spirit liquid and a saint rank puppet. However, fortunately, Qi Mufeng and Su Qin became brothers. Compared to that, it was still a profit. Because a character like Su Qin would sooner or later become the strongest in the void. Having such a strong friend was not something that a bottle of life spirit liquid and a puppet could compare to. In that case, let's go together. Su Qin readily agreed. Qi Mufeng was a saint rank, and Qi Muyu and Qi Muxue were both level 10 powerhouses. They could be of more help by his side. Satoshi, go back the way we came. Su Qin ordered. The best way to return to the human continent as soon as possible was to go back from where they came from. Yes. The intelligent war chariot received the order and sped in a certain direction. Su Qin sat in the driver's seat, closed his eyes and began to think. The trip to the elf continent could be said to be extremely dangerous. It could be said that this was the most dangerous situation he had ever encountered since his debut. However, danger and reward were often proportional. The harvest this time was incomparably bountiful. Life spirit fluid, life spirit spring water, 2 saint-grade puppets, and a mechanical heart were all priceless treasures. In addition, he also took the opportunity to obtain a large number of fragments. Moreover, this was not the main point. More importantly, he had created a brand new killer move. The combination of ice and fire magic, coupled with the attack of 2 types of strange flames, was enough to destroy heaven and earth. Even a second stage saint rank would not be able to withstand it. Clearly, this killer move had become his strongest trump card. However, after using this killer move, he would be weakened for a period of time, so he could not use it casually. The intelligent war chariot traveled for 3 days and successfully found the boundary point that connected to the Horn Demon continent. Just as it was about to activate the travel function, the swift bird suddenly warned, Master, danger is approaching. Su Qin raised his eyebrows and immediately ordered, Satoshi, search the surroundings. The swift bird's ability to predict danger had been proven. Since it said so, there must be danger. Master, 2 people of another race are approaching us. The intelligent war chariot searched for a while and quickly replied. What are their cultivation levels? Su Qin asked. A level 10 cultivator and a saint rank powerhouse. Saint rank? Su Qin narrowed his eyes and said in a low voice, Satoshi, enlarge their image. Chapter 845. The image on the central control screen changed and soon the figures of 2 young men appeared. In terms of appearance, the 2 of them were no different from humans. But it was worth noting that one of them would flash with lightning from time to time, while the other was glowing with a faint green light. It was as if he had unintentionally released his magic power. It was very strange. It's Gu Chuan and Gu Lin from the Gu family. Qi Mufeng's expression changed slightly after seeing their faces. Gu family? Su Qin pondered and asked, Brother Qi, is the Gu family very famous? Qi Mufeng nodded and said, The Gu family and our Qi family are about the same in strength. They are called the 10 hidden families in the void. 10 hidden families? Su Qin's eyelids twitched. The Qi family had a stage 5 saint. In that case, there were too many strong people in the void. Brother Qi, which family is the Gu family from? Su Qin asked curiously. Although Gu Chuan and Gu Lin looked like humans, there was no way they were human. They are from the spirit race. Qi Mufeng replied and then reminded him, the spirit race can be said to be one of the strongest races in the universe. One of the most powerful races? Su Qin was confused. Weren't the 5 super races the most powerful races? How come there was another spirit race? The spirit race is stronger than the 5 super races? Su Qin probed. The 5 super races are the most powerful races on the continent, not including the races in the void. There are many races in the void that are stronger than the 5 super races, including us, the Capricorn race, Qi Mufeng explained. Su Chen was enlightened and then asked, "What are the characteristics of the spirit race?" Every member of the spirit race is the perfect combination of a Dharma psychic and an evolver, so they are much stronger than others of the same level. Qi Mufeng replied. Then he pointed at one of the spirit race people. He's called Guchuan. He's at the first stage of the saint stage. His lightning spells are very mysterious. Even I would suffer a bit if I were to face him. That means he still has some strength. Su Chen muttered to himself. He had seen Qi Mufeng's strength before. Even if they were both level 10, the gold-devouring beetles and steel willow might not be his match. Gu Chuan was slightly stronger than Qi Mufeng and was definitely considered a top-notch expert. However, Su Chen could not figure out why Gu Chuan and Gu Lin were here. He had never interacted with the spirit race before. "Brother Qi, is there a grudge between the Qi family and the Gu family?" Su Chen asked. He suspected that the two from the Gu family were here for Qi Mufeng. "I don't think so." Qi Mufeng shook his head and said slowly, "Although the Qi family and the Gu family are not on good terms, there definitely won't be any conflict between us." "Then they're here for me?" Su Chen narrowed his eyes. Whether it was true or not, he would know when the other party came over. After a while, Gu Chuan and his brother came to the intelligent war chariot. The two sized up the intelligent war chariot, and Gu Chuan said loudly, "Su Chen, I know you're inside. Come out, don't be a coward." "They're really here for me." Su Chen clicked his tongue and opened the door to get out. Qi Mufeng and the others also got out of the car. Seeing so many people get out of the car, including the three from the Qi family, Gu Chuan's expression froze, but he quickly recovered and said, "Who is Su Chen?" "I am." Su Chen rubbed his nose and took a step forward. Chapter 846. You're just as the rumors say. Gu Chuan glanced at Su Chen and said thoughtfully, "Gentlemen, why are you looking for me?" Su Chen said calmly, "To kill you." Gu Lin's eyes were filled with disdain as he said coldly. Hearing this, Wu Yazi and the others all laughed. A mere level 10 cultivator wants to kill Su Chen? What a joke. Isn't he afraid of biting his tongue? "You." Su Chen narrowed his eyes at Gu Lin and snorted. "I definitely can't kill you, but my big brother can easily kill you." Gu Lin replied. "Why do you want to kill me?" Su Chen wasn't angry. Instead he said calmly. They had no grudges, but they came to kill him. Could it be that someone ordered them to do so? It's simple. The Human Alliance and the Alien Race Alliance both issued a kill order for you. I happened to know about this, so I killed you while I was at it. Gu Chuan didn't hide anything and said honestly. He looked like he had Su Chen in his grasp. "You probably haven't heard of my deeds, right?" Su Chen chuckled. He had even killed a saint-level gold-devouring bug before. This was enough to prove his strength. And Gu Chuan still dared to kill him. He suspected that Gu Chuan didn't know much about him. "Of course I know." Gu Chuan snorted and said frankly, "You're known as the youngest genius in the history of the human race. Countless experts have died in your hands. Among them, your most glorious achievement is killing a saint-level human and a saint-level gold-devouring bug of the holy demon race. Since you still dare to come?" Su Chen didn't quite understand. Gu Chuan was only slightly stronger than Qi Mufeng. Why was he so confident? "I can't help it. Because I have a special hobby. I like to kill geniuses. People call me the Genius Destroyer," Gu Chuan said naturally. His expression looked very calm, but there was no doubt that he was extremely arrogant. Genius Destroyer? Wu Yazi and the others were stunned. They all wondered if Gu Chuan was an idiot. It was one thing for him to call himself the Genius Destroyer in front of others, but he dared to call himself that in front of Su Chen. Wasn't he seeking his own death? "This brat is even crazier than me." Su Chen couldn't help but click his tongue. All along he felt that his style of doing things was arrogant and domineering enough, but compared to Gu Chuan, it was still a little insignificant. Genius of destruction? Special hobby? This act of pretentiousness was very loud. "Since you want to destroy me, then hurry up. I'll be waiting for you here," Su Chen said loudly. He didn't intend to let Gu Chuan continue pretending. "Su Chen, I'll give you one more chance. All of you can come at me together." Gu Chuan didn't attack. Instead he reminded him. Attack together? Did he really think that he was invincible? Wu Yazi and the others were furious. What an idiot. Qi Muxue couldn't help but curse. Although she hated Su Chen a little, she had to admit that Su Chen was powerful. That day, so many of them surrounded the elf race's sacred tree, but they couldn't do anything to it. On the other hand, Su Chen went up alone and dismembered the elf race's sacred tree in no time. His powerful strength was obvious. Gu Chuan still wanted to kill Su Chen. His brain must have been damaged. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Su Chen moved his feet and turned into a flash of light, charging straight at Gu Chuan. So fast. Gu Lin was shocked and quickly retreated. Gu Chuan, on the other hand, had a calm expression. He snorted coldly and a destructive blue light instantly appeared on his body. At the same time, a violent wave of lightning magic spread out from his body. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.